everyone. We have a bunch of kaiju action this week on the Fake Nerd Podcast. This is episode 145. Screonk to all of you.
To 150.
Ryan.
I'm a giant monster, all-out battle attack monster.
Ryan James Eliopoulos, Screonk to you.
Get the James out of there. I'm a Godzilla you if you call me James again.
Ben Praster, Screonk to you.
Oh, what? Oh, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, he does the 98 Godzilla roar really well.
Yeah, I try. I used to do the back before my voice changed. I was able to do the sound effect pretty decently.
And
Screonk
Sparks,
to you, Brandon.
Thank you. Sparks, Screonk to you.
Screonk to you.
Yeah, Screonk everyone. Screonk.
Wait, can I do my best Ghidorah? No, we're not Odin.
For those,
It's spelled that way.
Yeah.
For those of y'all who don't understand, the onomatopoeia, which is the sound effect for Godzilla, is Screonk.
How they got that, we'll
Been-
never know.
Has been since Marvel.
And for Ghidorah is hurrah!
Hurrah! He's just super excited to be here.
Three heads going hurrah! Hurrah! I want the re-edit of the King of the Monsters trailer with Ghidorah every time he opens his mouth going hurrah!
That'd be great.
all right, so how are you guys? How was your week?
It was pretty good. Man,
good.
I feel like I did a lot of stuff this week. What about you?
What did you do?
I don't know. Oh, well, what I remember doing with you is we watched Doom Patrol.
We did. We started Doom Patrol.
We watched 2 episodes.
Yes.
That show's freaking great.
Yeah, that show's really good.
No offense to the CW shows.
No.
I think it's way better than all those shows.
It's better than Titans too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is like
This is
Netflix level. Real
This
good.
is not the same style of show, but Legion quality.
Yes, it's very goofy.
Yeah.
and very in your face and raunchy. And I love it.
In a non-spoiler way, like in episode 2, there's just this part where Brendan Fraser in his robot man body is running around and swearing at a donkey that he's trying to catch while Cyborg just watches baffled.
A donkey's a essential plot
Doom
point.
Patrol.
It's great. Yeah.
Just, you gotta.
Alan Tudyk is like the narrator. Like I didn't know how much he's in the show.
He's in the show a
He's
lot.
like he's in it a lot. It's fantastic. We watched another D show, but a different universe.
Daredevil.
Yeah,
I started Daredevil season 3 because I finished Iron Fist season 2.
Tell me how you feel about Iron Fist.
I really liked it.
Thank you. I'm so
I
glad.
understand now. I'm glad you didn't spoil it for me. I appreciate that.
Because it's really great.
There's
what
a
they
thing.
do.
There's a thing about the end of that season that's actually really awesome. It's unfortunate that we'll probably never see any more of it.
Right.
But it's actually super great, and I'm way into it. And
Do
I'm glad
we-
it wasn't spoiled for me.
Do we see the dragon?
No,
I don't care.
You do care.
Okay.
you should.
You do care.
100%.
100%.
Did we watch anything else together?
No, I
Okay.
don't think together we did.
Okay, so 7 years ago, a game called City of Heroes came out. Excuse me,
Oh,
it
shit,
was,
that's
it was
right.
canceled. It was canceled. The game came out in 2004. So I played it from 2004 into 2012, almost every single day of my life. It was. I was trying to figure out the best way to explain this to you guys that would make sense how important this game was to me and how the reason that it came back and how much it affected me emotionally. Like Game of Thrones, right? Game of Thrones ends, right? But we have those DVDs. We can watch that show. An online game, if it goes away, it's done. It's dead. You can't play it again. So my favorite game of all time is dead in the water and gone. And for thousands of people who spent their weekends, playing these characters, role playing these characters, it was insane to have it come back all these years later and seeing all these people that I haven't seen in a long time. And it was like
So now did it come back like...
it's a private server run by fans.
Interesting.
And they have updated the game themselves, and the game is like if it were out today with the updates, it's incredible, and like it's like a television show of my life got a remake, and it's I can't explain to you how amazing this is for me and how awesome it is, because it's like man, I can't even imagine anything for you guys. Like it's hard to explain, but imagine like going back to college, but it's like the best, like all your friends coming back. It's like a high school reunion. It's a high school reunion, but you actually want to go to it. How about that? I'll say it like that. So that opened my eyes, and then because of that and Death Stranding, I finished writing the ending to my comic that I've been working on for like 10 years.
Wow.
Because of City of Heroes. And I was in such a good mood this weekend. You saw some of that. And I was like, wow, my spirits have been lifted because of City of Heroes. So thank you, City of Heroes. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate you.
No question for City of Heroes.
Yeah.
Do you have to start all over at level 1?
Yeah.
Or is your... Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's not the same. It's not this company. That company's dead and gone.
Yeah.
They were sold and fired.
Right.
But like All the stuff from that game is still there, and the thing I love about it is they have the mission architect where you create your own storylines, and you create your own story arcs, and you create your own cutscenes, and you create all the characters in the cutscenes, and you write your own comic books. And I was doing that as a teenager, and that's what made me want to become a comic book writer. And to be able to do that again, it's really something else, you guys. It's really something else. And
Nice.
that was my week. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really awesome. I was
Yeah.
really happy that happened for you.
My all my free time is now gone. I have something to do again. It's great.
Ben, what about you?
Let's see. So I got Monday off because the last Monday was a holiday.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
thank you, soldiers and stuff.
And so my girlfriend and I, we went to a wedding, and it was one of her friends' weddings, so I didn't know a whole lot of people there. But it was a really, really nice ceremony, a really beautiful venue. And she got the bouquet, so now ever since she caught
Congrats.
it, yeah, everyone's been telling me, like, oh my god, you're next.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah?
Mrs. Fanny Magnet.
No.
Just saying.
Fan magnet.
No.
It's pretty good.
Fanny Magnet.
No. Yeah.
What's funny is he can't counter that because he'd have to say his real last name
I'm
on
not
air.
no.
And he will never do that.
It's
Nope.
Longfellow.
So from now on,
Don't say it's
from
Mark's.
now
I'm looking
on,
right at you.
if he ever gets married, his wife will be named Fanny Magnet.
It's pretty. It's not. There are worse names to have.
Yeah.
I knew a guy named Tommy Peeper.
Hey, it could be like your last name could be like Hole.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then should be Fanny Hole.
Oh.
Donza rape.
No, that poor gentleman. That's an inside joke. Sorry, guys. Anything entertainment related?
Entertainment-wise, Fanny and I were getting farther and farther into Cuphead. We have one
Cool.
more boss to go until we get inside the casino.
Hell yeah.
So it's just the last airplane fight that we have against this stupid robot that I absolutely despise and I want to chokehold, but I can't because it's virtual.
You're gonna meet the devil soon.
Yeah. Besides that, yesterday I was just actually productive. I woke up, I cleaned up the house a little bit, finally put some art on the walls I have been meaning to put up for the longest time. I just never had the time to do it.
Very
or
nice.
I just woke up, I was too lazy and I didn't do it. So yesterday I was like, yeah, I'm going to be productive. But I saw Godzilla at an AMC dine-in last night. And I've never been to one of those, and that was one of the coolest things ever, because, I mean, I've heard of, like, the dine-ins where they bring the food to you, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah.
But when we actually got there, about, like, half hour before the movie started. They were still cleaning the auditorium. And then they're like, okay, so what can I get you? They just brought us our food, and then they're like, oh, yeah, if you want, refills are free, so if you want refills, just push the button, and we're just going to bring you refills. So it was actually, I mean, it's kind of spendy.
Yeah, those dine-ins are real cool, though.
Yeah, it's spendy, but it's really, really cool, because especially all the seats, they lean back, and we
Yeah.
were sitting in the very front row. And normally I hate sitting in the front row, but this was like, no, this is
But there's also like
great.
way less seats than a regular theater,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So it's still not that bad.
And also when people, because you know how some people are like, oh, I might want something in the middle of the movie. I tried to get a refill in my soda. I want to say like 3/4 of the way through the movie. Never showed up, and I'm like, okay, smart.
Yeah.
So that way you're not constantly seeing people, or you see the servers going back and forth, and distributing reviews.
Yeah, that always with those movie dining experiences, like the one that when I lived in Texas, there was one, but there were so many lights, and all the servers were like constantly like bothering the movie, and I was like, this is a terrible experience. So I'm glad I
Yeah.
found a way to actually make it work out.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a good idea, but like I don't want to talk to someone during the movie.
Yeah, they also give you your food before the movie starts, which means you can eat it while you're watching the movie, and that's it. They stop right there. Maybe they'll come in and give you stuff during the trailers, but the second the movie like for sure really starts, that's it. You're done. No more stuff's coming out to you, which actually kind of smart because you can still I don't know because I know how some people they save their food and like once the movie starts then they start eating down. Oh, like me, where sometimes I go buy candy and I just chuck that sucker down before the trailers even finish.
Yeah, I'm bad about that too.
Yeah.
I ate half my popcorn before the movie started today.
Yeah.
My red vines are gone when the credits roll.
You had help.
Yeah, did that help?
Yeah, like the times I bought Reese's Pieces, I would go in there, like my box is now gone and the movie hasn't even
Also,
started yet.
You're paying like double price for half the box too.
Yeah,
So like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
yeah. But I would recommend going to a dine-in at least once in a while. It's a really good date night idea, but oh man, for 2 people that was expensive. I mean, we
bet.
did get an appetizer.
It's
but-
like $40 a ticket.
no, it wasn't $40 a ticket.
Well, with food and ticket. You mean.
Well, no, so at the AMC dine-in, he's right. It is a little cheaper, but at the I think it's a Cinemark in Westwood.
I was talking about the food, not the ticket. The ticket was like $12.
Oh, okay, so I think it's a Cinemark in Westwood, much more expensive.
Yeah.
Really nice theater though.
I bet.
Yeah.
Much more expensive.
Yeah.
The food was good. The food was good. It wasn't crappy food.
It was Godzilla?
It was.
Oh no!
But it's definitely
this is that episode.
It's definitely a date night. That's the thing. It's a date night. If you're willing to, if you have some money to drop, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. But otherwise, on a regular Friday night, I would recommend it.
Yeah, I guess my turn.
Ben, didn't you do anything else this week? Like read something?
Oh yeah, I finished reading Pokemon.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I read
the first Pokemon.
He borrowed the first 3 volumes.
The first 3 volumes of the Pokemon manga. I finished it, and Sparks gave me the next 4.
Nice.
Yep, that's the next arc.
There you go.
How you feel?
I have so much more shit to read. Holy crap!
At least you like manga.
Oh, I love manga. Yeah. I absolutely love it. But I still, even when I was cleaning out my room, I still have a bunch of graphic novels that I bought from WonderCon that I haven't even started reading yet. I haven't even touched them.
Then
add it to the list.
Half of the books on there.
I know.
haven't read yet.
I know. But Brandon, I try not to have your thing where it's like, hey, I bought this book 3 years ago. I still haven't read it yet. I'd like to try and read my stuff when I get it.
I think I've read every single thing on my bookshelf.
That's my goal.
Eventually.
The only things on my bookshelf that I haven't read are all the Song of Ice and Fire books.
Yeah. Well,
I haven't read all those.
That's fine. I've read all the comics. Yeah.
All right, so I guess my turn.
Go for it.
I didn't do a whole lot. I've been really busy this week with my car falling apart and my tooth falling out.
Oh yeah, you told me that. Comic store earlier today.
For those of you who don't know, I guess my wisdom teeth just decided to chip. So that's fun. I got a lot of car repair coming up too. Ooh. But we try to stay positive on this show as much as we can. So I will say I went to see Booksmart. I went to see Booksmart this past week. Very good. Olivia Wilde's directorial debut. Very good. I really liked it. Probably one of the best of the year.
I've heard nothing but good things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun.
I'll definitely check it out.
I think I posted this on Twitter, but I think if they ever wanted to, I'm not saying they should, but if they ever wanted to, I think Caitlin Dever would be a good Mary Jane Watson.
Don't we have a Mary Jane already?
No, we have a Michelle who goes by MJ.
Oh.
See, I'm saying if they ever wanted to cast like Mary Jane Watson, I think it would be interesting. I think Caitlin Dever would be a good choice.
Gotcha.
I'm not saying they should. I just want to, stop those tweets.
Are you
listening,
Sony?
I think she'd be a good role, a good fit for the role, and she fits that age range that they're all in, and she looks about the right.
Like she's like early 20s, but composed as a teenager.
Right. Okay. So I think that'd be good.
Right on.
Other than that, I guess we should get going into our episode.
Tomorrow is an
sure thing.
And here's your bread and your butter.
Here's your bread and butter. Okay, not in my ear, thank you.
All right, then to get started, we've got some miscellaneous news to deal with up top. One of the things that Sparks wanted to bring up.
Oh yeah,
that Stan Lee's now ex-manager.
Yep.
Has been arrested.
Yeah, he has. He's charged with elder abuse. We kind of touched on this a long time ago because I was like, "Hey guys, have you heard about this stuff? Because it's real weird." And we weren't getting like full clear pictures, and we still aren't.
Yeah.
Because there's
it's
investigation stuff still coming out. But what's up is Kia Morgan, who was Lee's former business manager, was arrested in Arizona Saturday morning. He had been previously charged by Los Angeles County prosecutors with felony instances of theft, embezzlement, forgery, or fraud against an elder adult, and false imprisonment of an elder adult.
Now, this was the guy who was using Stan Lee's blood for pens, right?
That is one of the stories that's going around about
yikes.
stuff he was doing was having Stan Lee's vials of blood kept for signing comics.
Big
And
yikes.
autographs.
Big
Okay.
yikes.
Yeah, that's something.
Among the allegations, he's said to have collected over $262,000 from autograph signing sessions, which he pocketed in May 2018. He also reportedly took Lee from his Hollywood's home to a Beverly Hills condominium, where authorities note Morgan had more control over Lee. His daughter has come out multiple times saying that he was keeping family and friends away from Stan, not letting them be a part of his life and taking hard control over him. There were a lot of weird videos that came out that Morgan was seemingly forcing Lee to control. A lot of people talked about how Stan Lee at the time didn't look like he was doing well. Lee was removed from Morgan's control in June 2018 when Morgan was arrested by the LAPD for making fake 911 calls, allegedly performed in order to make Lee believe he was in danger.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, according to the press, he had arranged to surrender himself this week, and he now faces extradition back to Los Angeles, being charged with these elder abuse charges.
Wow.
Lock him up.
Yeah.
This guy sounds like a monster.
Yeah.
Screw that guy. Jeez.
It's.
I'm glad that something is finally coming around about like punishment for this, because there were a lot of these stories going around in like the last 2 years of Stan's life, and there were a lot of people in the comic industry who were just saying like, we just hope he's okay, we don't know what's happening, and we're really nervous and afraid for him. And they're like, this is not the way we want Stan to be living his last years, even though nobody knew when Stan was going to go. They're like, this is, he's getting up there, and this is not how we want him to be living his
He's in his 90s
years.
And there was a visible change. like I know when you're old, your health deteriorates, but there was a quick change from Stan the Man Lee to what he ended
There was
up
very
becoming.
much like a before and after. Like you could tell.
Yeah,
you could tell he was frail.
Something changed from active, energetic Stan Lee, who again the '90s. I get it, but
He was more energetic than all of us.
yeah, but when you look at like him at his death, just before he died, I don't believe that was just he aged.
Like the end of 2017 on, pretty much when all this stuff was coming out, not long before.
Yeah.
All this stuff about Morgan and how he was handling Lee. And there's his daughter, a lot of friends and family, a lot of people in the industry all saying like, yo, something is not right. And there's obviously stuff that it's already guaranteed that he made these fake 911 calls.
Yeah.
It's already guaranteed that he was pocketing money. So there's a lot of shady stuff going on around here, and it's unfortunate that even happened, but I'm glad that there's like follow-up and punishment coming.
I agree. I'm really glad that after his passing, like they still went through. Like,
Me too.
I was worried.
I was worried we were never going to hear about this again.
He would just like get off scot-free, but like good.
Yeah.
Good. Bad guys.
That would have been unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right, and then the other thing, Akira Toriyama was knighted in France.
Yes,
Hell yeah.
Akira Toriyama got a knighthood in France.
Didn't know that France could do that.
I didn't either until this happened. He did not attend the ceremony because he's 64 and he doesn't leave his home or Japan when he doesn't need to. Mm-hmm. So he sent somebody in his place.
Oh, nice. So
he's not a person who he's very private.
Yeah,
he doesn't show up for most things.
You guys know
pictures of him are sparse.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys know Groundhog Day, where like if the groundhog sees his shadow, it's like 3 weeks of winter. He comes out of his house every couple of months and he releases a new Super Saiyan form and then goes back into the wild, never to be seen again.
Some new character design, and then he goes back away.
Like, this is Khalifa, and returns to his shack. Yeah.
This is Beerus.
Yeah.
But why France? Of all places.
They love Dragon Ball.
Apparently.
You can't be knighted in Britain unless you're
British?
unless you're a citizen.
Yeah.
So,
and we didn't know that there was royalty in France.
Yeah.
There used to be.
Yeah.
Well, we know they used to be, but we were pretty sure they were a democratic government
Yeah,
at
they
this
just have
point.
like a president or something.
Yeah, there's currently there's a president.
Chancellor or whatever.
President.
I don't know. I'm not big on.
I know there's
the
still
world.
If we have any France listeners, let us know how your government works.
French listeners.
Whatever.
Yeah, but I know
No listeners in France.
There's still
I was right.
There's still a king of Spain. I saw a gif of the Spanish king trying to salute the Spanish flag, but they put the flag on wrong. It was only flying by one tiny corner, and his face was just like,
My flag.
He was like, "Oh, the flag of my country, you done effed up."
More flags, more fun. He loves Six Flags. The king of Spain.
Yeah, the official statement from the person who represented him was, Mr. Toriyama is always very grateful to his French fans who have appreciated his work since the early days of his career. Unfortunately, Mr. Toriyama almost never attends ceremonies, and so I have the honor of receiving this award in his place. He instructed me to tell you how honored he is to receive this award from your country.
So do we have to call him Sir Akira Toriyama now, or can we still?
No, just
so
whenever
the
we talk
knighthood,
about him, we just go.
The knighthood is the knighthood with France's Order of Arts and Letters, and it's just one of the long list of accolades that Toriyama has now received. One of the most recent being when he was nominated for an Eisner.
Oh,
Cool.
good for him.
Okay.
All right then.
Well, good job. You made Dragon Ball, and now you're a French knight.
Go Akira Toriyama.
Thanks, bud.
That's something to put on your resume. He's like, oh yeah, I have a knighthood in France.
That's what he's been waiting for his entire life. 64 years of creating the biggest anime of all time. Now I'm knighted. Now I can do what I want.
And he has to play it cool, so
Yeah.
he stays back at home, and he's like, he's just like out on his own porch by himself, and
I'm
he gets
so excited.
the award from the guy who represented him. He's like, thank you, and he walks out and he just looks at it. He's like, I did it.
I've been waiting for this.
He stopped.
It was all for
production.
this.
He calls up Fuji TV. Stop production on Super. We're
Super's
done.
canceled.
We're done.
No more.
Is he married to the mangaka artist for Sailor Moon, or is that some stupid rumor I heard?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But is he married or is he not married?
We'll find out in a hot second. Thanks to the Googs.
Also,
Yeah,
I'm pretty
thanks
sure it's just mangaka. I think
Mangaka?
mangaka artist is
Yeah,
redundant.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it is
I
redundant.
don't want to get like
No,
text.
no, you're right. You're absolutely right. But how funny would it be? He gets his reward from his assistant. He walks in and goes, "Honey, guess what? I'm a knight now."
He's married to Yoshimi Kato. She's a former manga artist. She worked on not Sailor Moon.
Not Sailor Moon.
She worked on My Heart.
She
did.
She was
work
a
on
former
My
manga artist under the pen name Nachi Mikami,
Yeah.
Yep.
and occasionally helped out with Dr. Slump.
Yeah, but nothing big that we know.
Okay, so what? I don't know where I heard that Sailor said it was a Sailor
Internet.
Moon artist.
Rumors, my friend.
Yeah, rumors suck. Oh well, that's why I asked you guys.
Anime
Double check.
nerds who just want it to be true.
Yeah.
It's not true, guys.
Speaking of Japan, some Pokemon news came out this week.
Did it?
Dun.
Ryan,
Yeah.
care to tell us what that is?
I'll do it. Sure. So,
In the form of song. Go!
well, there is a Pokemon game. No. So
Hey, you that was good.
Thanks.
That was better than I would have
okay.
done.
So a couple announcements for Pokemon Sword and Shield, just like various things about the new Switch game came out, but also there are a couple mobile games coming out. One called Pokemon Sleep, which is a sleep app that helps like normalize your sleep patterns, but also it's like a weird meta game. There's also Pokemon Masters, which is a mobile-esque game, like a lot of mobile games that are currently on the market that I don't like playing. But the biggest one that I didn't talk to you about, Ben, it's called Pokemon Bank. And this is freaking radical. Pokemon Bank is going to allow you to have all your Pokemon from Pokemon Go, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Pokemon Sun and Moon. Every Pokemon that can be connected to a Wi-Fi device, they're going to be in the Pokemon Bank. So you can take your Pokemon to whatever game you want.
Yes.
So you have a Pokemon from Pokemon Go.
That's cool.
Take it to Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Take it to the new game on the Switch. Take it to yes. So it is legitimately awesome, and I hope they use this for the future forever. Because if it's as cool as it sounds, it's amazing.
I think I remember. It's called Pokemon Bank, right?
Yeah.
I think I remember them talking about this.
Yeah.
Especially when they re-released the emulators for Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow,
Yeah.
and eventually Gold and Silver for the 3DS.
Yes.
Where they said, where you can take they put in a feature in one of the Pokemon centers where you can take Pokemon from your Pokemon Bank and put them, maybe not all of them, obviously.
Yeah.
But at least the ones from the first and second gens into Gold and Silver.
Yeah, they're basically
so it'll be a lot easier to complete your Pokedex.
Yeah, it's basically like cross-platform, like PS4, Xbox type gameplay, but it's for your Pokemon.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah,
because you want to know one of the biggest problems that a lot of kids, I remember
catching
kids
them all.
Well, not just that, but especially when Ruby and Sapphire hit. How the hell am I gonna get? There was Game Boy Advance games, and to catch them all, you had to get all the stuff from Gold and Silver and before that, which were Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. There's no way to cross-compatible.
We're up to like 800 Pokemon now or something. So like,
wait, I'm sorry, cross-compatible them?
Well, at least like trade them from one game pack to another game.
No,
pack.
I know what you meant. I was just
the phrasing.
questioning the logic of the phrasing.
I got you.
I'm nerding out here. Okay, shut up.
No, I appreciate it. You're doing it well.
Like I don't care about the sleep game. Like I don't care about like the Pokemon Masters.
Pokemon
game.
sleep game
But
sounds like a
I
game
don't
for me since I want
understand.
to try and sleep more.
I don't understand the Pokemon Sleep game.
It's I really didn't look into it enough because the base of it was like just like did not interest me.
You just turn it on and you sleep?
No, it's certainly more than that, but it is to help you normalize your sleeping patterns while using Pokemon.
There are better apps.
It's more of a like health app than it is an actual game.
How will it know if you're asleep?
Oh, dude, your iPhone's amazing. It tells me exactly how many steps I take every day. It knows your heartbeat and knows when you make noises. And
Only
stuff.
when it's near you.
Yeah, it's near me all the time because it's my
But
alarm.
you gotta turn on the app.
No,
I'm so
I don't think
confused.
you use enough apps, my friend. They're always on in the background.
No, you have to tell them to be on in the background. Because you can say always on or not.
No.
You can have the option.
My Pokemon
So
Go app tells me I walk 10 miles a day, and that's how I hatch my Pokemon eggs every day.
My
Actually, that's how
question.
I need to check that later on today.
My question is, what's this just be like? Nah, I'm just pretending to be asleep. Like, what about if you nap? Like, why?
Brandon, this isn't for you because you're trying to find
Yeah.
ways to
You're
screw
try-
it
you're
over.
trying-
This
yeah.
is for people who want to use Pokemon and sleep.
I know. I don't. I just don't understand. I'm not trying to screw it over.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately trying to understand because to me, a game like this doesn't make
It's not
any
a game.
sense.
That's the thing. It's like a health app using Pokemon.
Okay, so I thought it was a game. That's fundamentally a game where you don't.
Maybe-
a game that you don't play doesn't make sense to
Yeah,
me.
maybe we just said it wrong by saying it was a game where you don't play. I didn't really check it out. I just saw the name Pokemon Sleep, and I thought, oh, that sounds stupid, and I didn't touch it. Unlike Pokemon Go, where you actually have to go outside and do stuff, that makes sense.
Yeah, because you're playing something. That's
Yeah.
a game, and it does.
It also connects to Pokemon Go and it allows users to train their Pokemon while they're sleeping. It also tracks time sleeping. It brings a gameplay experience unlike any other. They haven't said what that is yet. But
So it is a game.
It has components of a game.
So I'll have to wait and see what, because
Yeah.
if they said they're announcing all the stuff later, it's just, to me, play a game that you don't have to play doesn't make sense to me.
I know what you mean.
That's all I'm trying to get.
No, I know what you mean. There are many types of games.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that then.
I was just waiting for more actual Sword and Shield
Yeah.
actual news, and they didn't really give it to me. It's going to be more towards E3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
probably.
and E3's coming soon, baby. So get ready for those news.
Next
That
week.
is true.
Oh my god,
Wow, really? Next week?
it's either next week or in 2 weeks. But it's
No, it's next week.
Oh Jesus.
When I try to get the E3, I tried to get E3 press badge.
Oh, yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
get- and because I thought it was in July, then it's like, oh yeah, it's June 11th through something. I'm like, oh,
Oh Jesus. Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah.
Get ready for the news, baby.
Ooh,
All right.
That's
So-
gonna be a jam-packed episode.
Oh no, we'll just do a special again, like we did last year.
Oh, okay.
All right.
yeah.
So comics. We got some comic book news.
I read
Hey,
this.
we bought those today.
A new Black Label book. Now, this one really screwed me over because Stepan Sejic, who has a Black Label book coming, and we've been waiting to hear what that is. He posted this Black Label book. Like, this sounds cool. I'm like, oh my god, did they finally announce it? No, they didn't. But this is still interesting.
This looks really cool, actually.
So it's called Joker Harley, Criminal Insanity, by Kami Garcia, who wrote the Beautiful Creatures novels, and Mike Mayhew, the Star Wars artist, and Mike Suyan, who is the artist on Bloodshot Reborn. They're the creative team on this book. It's a Black Label book about Joker and Harley. They have a synopsis. It's a little long, so bear with me here. In Gotham City, where heinous acts of violence are a daily occurrence, the GCPD relies on Harley Quinn, a young forensic psychiatrist and profiler, to consult on their toughest cases. But Harley is haunted by one case in particular, when she found herself at the center of a horrifying crime scene the night she discovered the body of her roommate, left with the signature of a notorious serial killer, the Joker. When a series of gruesome displays of murder appear throughout the city, the past and present collide as Harley's obsession with finding the depraved psychopath responsible leads her down a dangerous path. She must decide how far she is willing to go and what lines she is willing to cross to solve these cases once and for all.
Hell yeah.
So it sounds like a new
take on Mad Love.
A new take on Mad Love.
It reminds me of like a lot of our generation is really transfixed on like serial killers and like and like unsolved mysteries, and this
Really, Serial is not the most popular.
it's pretty popular.
I'm just kidding.
My favorite murder. There's also more in that article talking about how they're trying to make Joker feel more like a John Wayne Gacy or like what's his name?
Ted Bundy.
Ted
Ted Bundy. Thank
Yeah.
you. Like realistic, real criminals. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I like the really internal look instead of it just being a crazy Batman story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this is written well enough, I really like the psychological aspects that Harley will go through.
Well, yeah, that's what Mad Love.
But way less Paul Dini cartoony. Like,
Well, yeah, I think what Mad Love tries to do, because it is an adaptation of a TV show episode. They do try to gear it towards that demographic, but what they do is they make Joker a more likable character because you're seeing it through Harley Quinn's perspective, and you can tell how she falls in love with Harley Quinn. So I think they're kind of riffing off of that, but taking it into a darker place.
Yes.
I think probably it's about time, because they did the new 52 origin, which does a little bit of that, but I don't think well enough. So I'm interested to see that mixed with Mad Love, but done well.
yeah, and the fact that it's Black Label, like, yeah, man, just tell you a really dark, like, realistic-esque story of Mad Love. I'm like, I'm cool with that.
It's probably gonna get pretty gruesome too.
Yeah, I believe this book is out October 2nd, and
just over Halloween.
it's a 9-issue miniseries.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not it's 9-issue monthly, so it's going away from the 3-issue bi-monthly series that they've been doing so far. So it looks like the Black Label series line is starting to diversify, which I think is good.
Didn't they, because we saw at the comic shop, didn't they add, what was it, like an older book?
Oh, they have been adding older books to the Black Label line,
Which is odd, because one of the books I saw was Darwin Cook's DC: The New Frontier.
Yeah. That book's not particularly...
That threw me off, because I figured Black Label was supposed to be like...
mature.
like, this is the rated R stuff you don't want the kids
New
to see.
Frontier isn't rated R,
New
though.
Frontier does get bloody.
Yeah,
But no more than
other
modern comics, right?
Yeah, but other like BVS, or not BVS, that was a horrible thing. Why the hell did I say that?
Well, White Knight was retroactively put into the Black Label.
That would make sense, too, though.
Watchmen was put into the Black Label.
Okay, I can see that.
No, Watchmen is absolutely a Black Label book.
Yeah,
I mean, those are still all, like, mature books. Like, I don't...
New Frontier doesn't look like it fits. You're right.
Yeah.
But they do look like they're diversifying that line with this. So it makes me wonder what Three Jokers will be doing when we ever hear more about that.
I mean, Jason Fabok still talks about it on Twitter all the time, so
that book is coming.
it's coming.
Yeah. Sparks, what do you think about this guy?
Honestly, it's like, will I read it? I don't know.
Sure.
That's kind of where I've gotten to with some of these things. Is
anybody-
I'm like, yeah, I need ideas, but like, am I going to read it? I don't. Not soon. Honestly.
Have any of us read Beautiful Creatures?
No.
I don't think we're.
I don't read many books in general.
Sure.
But-
I'm not gonna read a young adult book.
But I do remember seeing the trailer for the movie and telling you it was going to be a bad movie.
I mean, that's no guarantee the books were bad.
It's very, very true.
Not
Very true.
my thing.
I don't know, dude. It was just...
Was Jeremy Irons in that movie?
He
is that,
was.
Is that one?
And Emmy Rossum.
And Emmy Rossum, you're right.
Oh wow,
Oh, yes. And
Brandon,
Speed
you
Racer.
Emil Hirsch.
Emil Hirsch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
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 All right. Anyway, so hopefully she didn't write the movie, and we're looking for good things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
'cause
is not her
It
first
could be.
comic.
It could be
though.
cool.
This is not her first comic either. So.
Yeah, it sounds.
Oh, okay.
It sounds interesting. I just personally probably won't get to it for a long time unless I hear like, you have to read this.
I'll let you know if it's like absolutely worth.
There you go.
I'll
So,
pick up the first issue.
Honestly, I shouldn't let Beautiful Creatures down too much because Aragon is one of my favorite book series, and that movie is god awful bad.
we
but
just-
the book is amazing.
I think I think three of us, Sparks. I don't believe you did, but Ryan, Ben, and I, we picked up
Last Night
Last
on
on
Earth.
Earth, which is the newest Black Label book.
I
Scott
got
and Greg
peer
Capullo.
pressure to do it.
Let me tell you. So when The Walking Dead started, like 7 years ago, I used to watch it every Sunday night with my coworker, and we would smoke a bunch of weed and talk about comic ideas. And one of our ideas was to have a futuristic story where Batman was his head was in a case traveling with Superman, and it was really funny because it has a lot of similarities to this book. And I'm like, man, great ideas. Just give it a couple years. And
This is the
yeah.
the reason why I bring it up is because this is the last time that Capullo and Snyder will be working together
Yeah, at least
on Batman.
on Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like BFFs, so like I wouldn't be surprised if they do creator own.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so it's really exciting. That's why I picked it up because I have all their books together. So.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
I picked it up because seeing Snyder Capullo's name together again was great. Also, it's only 3-part book series.
Like 3 oversized issues.
It wasn't that expensive either. No. So I figured, you know what? Yeah, I could splurge.
It was normal size comic and not magazine size comic like Damned.
Yeah.
Or Superman Year One.
And also,
Oh, was your one also big?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, no advertisements were in it.
Oh.
I flipped through it just to see if I wanted to pick it up, see if I really wanted to read it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I think I'll be into
You
this.
saw like Capullo art and you're like, oh yes.
All right. Speaking of DC and Batman more specifically,
I like Batman.
so we talked last week a lot about Tom King,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we speculating like what could have happened.
Sorry, quick pause. Another book I need to finish reading is the second half of Mr. Miracle because I bought that at WonderCon.
Yes, I do too.
Meow.
Yeah,
we should
Tom,
book club it since we book clubbed the first one.
Yeah. So Tom King, we speculated what could he possibly have left for? What could he be talking about? The new and exciting things that he is doing. One of them, confirmed by Ava DuVernay, is that he is writing the New Gods movie
With her.
That's exciting. It's very exciting.
It is. Remember when Jeff Johns was writing the Batman movie?
In Green Lantern.
Yeah. So like I'm immediately really
But
excited.
Donny Cates is writing God Country.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's his own creative book.
Yeah,
not
Donny Cates wrote God Country.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's a little different.
The thing that excites me is like you guys know how good the first part of Miss Miracle is. Hey, spoilers, the second half's really good too. That book's incredible and it like redefines Big Barda and Scott Free Mr. Miracle for our generation.
Yeah.
And I think DC loves his take so much. They're like, hey, we really want those characters, your characters, to translate to the big screen. We don't want DC's. We want Tom King's Big Barda. And I think this is awesome. And if they make that movie way more personal and small while still having Darkseid and stuff, don't make it this giant epic battle like a Justice League. We don't need that. Make it personal. You can have big and small at the same time.
Like focus on maybe 4 characters.
Well,
Mr.
Guardians of the
Miracle, Big
Galaxy.
Barda, Darkseid,
Granny Goodness.
and Orion.
Guardians of the Galaxy is a good example of you can go big by not going big,
Yes.
making it personal.
Yeah, exactly. Something
Yeah.
like that, yeah. But like having just focus on Big Barda and Mr. Miracle, I think that is incredibly smart. And that's not what they say they're doing. But you don't get Tom King to write your New Gods movie who just did a New Gods run. It's going to focus on them.
Yeah.
They're your guys, and it's going to have Light Ray and Darkseid and Granny Goodness and
Orion.
Steppenwolf maybe.
Oh.
Prequel Steppenwolf. Maybe he won't look like shit.
He
That'd be
grew
nice.
into a shit monster.
He grew into a shit monster. Yeah.
Like Darkseid punched him and then he turned into Mance Raider.
God. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, this is not his first on-screen thing he wrote for some television, so I'm not too worried about it. Jeff Johns only wrote comics.
Yeah. He wrote the best episode of Doom Patrol. Or sorry, not Doom Patrol.
Smallville.
Yes, Titans. He wrote the Hawk and Dove episode of Titans.
Wait, Tom King or Jeff Johns?
Jeff Johns.
Okay.
So like they can translate.
Was that the Hawk and Dove or the Hank and Don? Hank and Danny.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah. Sorry. The Hawk episode. Yeah.
Well, that was the second Hawk episode. That's why I asked.
Didn't you write both?
I'm not sure if he wrote Hawk and Dove, because
Okay.
that's why I'm saying. Because the Hank and Don was the one you and I watched recently.
That's the good one.
That was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he wrote that episode for sure.
Wait,
Yeah, yeah.
Sparks, didn't Jeff Johns also write the JSA episodes of Smallville?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I was about to say, because those were like the best, my favorite episodes of Smallville.
Heck
Hey,
yeah.
you want to ever do a JSA movie? I say get Jeff Johns. No one has more respect for legacy characters than
You know
Batman.
what? I would agree for that.
Yeah.
As much as hearing the words Jeff Johns writing a movie kind of freaks me out a little bit because I like Green Lantern, but I'm okay with that.
After our Marc Guggenheim interview, I don't blame
It's not all.
any one person on
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
That's a collective fart.
Yeah. Anything else we want to add, or should we move on to the other Batman section news of the week?
This seems to be more of a trend of getting comic book people into the movies. Even if it's just like consulting, like Bendis did for the first part of the MCU. Like, it's smart.
Or Bendis did for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's an executive producer on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it makes sense. He made Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So having comic book creators consult is really good. Jury's still out if it's a unanimously good idea to have comic book writers write movies.
Rip Remender wrote most of Deadly Class, the TV show, and that is
Real good.
exceptional.
Real good.
Exceptional.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, yeah, you got a
Bing Bong.
point.
The TV show format, I think, is a lot easier for comic book writers to do because it's the same type of format. It's a serialized format across long form storytelling.
You don't have to.
Joss Whedon wrote Avengers.
Joss Whedon did write Avengers.
Yeah.
So it can be done.
Yes.
So we will see. All right. So moving on, it sounds like in Deadline, Variety, everyone is reporting that it is now official.
I mean, I haven't heard anybody say it isn't official now.
Yeah.
That after it happened this week because they were going for screen tests and they were doing things. That is now official that Robert Pattinson is our new Batman.
Cool.
Pattinson.
So
Robert Pattinson.
So I re-listened, or I listened to you guys when this news first broke.
Sure.
And Sparks, you're 100% right. Don't sleep on Robert Pattinson because he is a good actor, and because I have been seeing stuff online and I have been hearing people talking about it's like, oh, that lame sparkly. I don't want a sparkly Batman. I'm like,
I remember 11 years ago too.
Casey. I
For
love
real,
talking
though.
to Casey Casuals, but sometimes I hate talking to Casey Casuals.
Yeah.
Because that person is more than just a stupid role.
No. We talked about this. Like,
And also-
for some reason, he is relegated to Twilight Man.
Yeah.
When so many other actors have
And-
done shitty movies and moved on.
Yeah. And like, remember Batfleck, remember Heath Ledger. So many people were giving him shit.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's a fair point to bring up. Is like, let's not remember when Ben Affleck was cast either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even Brandon was against it at first.
Oh, yeah, you
like
were.
there was a weird amount of gatekeeping when it comes to Batman casting. To be honest, I think that everybody would be rioting about Joker if it wasn't
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix in the role. I think everybody respects him enough as an actor that nobody's gonna complain about it. But
Yeah. And also-
almost nobody could have stepped into that role and not gotten flack and lambasted until people saw the final product. I think Joaquin Phoenix is one of the few people who could.
And also, he said multiple times it's not going to be a one and done. He's not in it for the long haul. It's just a one and done movie. That's it.
Yeah. But there's a weird amount of overprotectiveness when it comes to a lot of the Batman roles.
Yeah.
And I think we need to let a lot of that go.
Oh, yeah.
And especially Matt Reeves is behind this.
Yes,
I have
yes.
no reason to doubt his judgment.
Uh-huh.
And I've seen enough of Robert Pattinson to know better, but even regardless of that, just let it happen. Don't judge him on the one thing that you know of because you didn't watch any indie films.
Yeah. I'm actually... I went the same way I went at Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck, when he got cast, I was like, you know what? I know it's Ben Affleck and there's a lot of stigma sadly attached to his name, but he's a diehard Batman fan. I'm like, he's got it. For Robert Pattinson, I'm going to do the same thing. He's not... I don't know if he is a big Batman fan.
Doesn't matter.
But
He's an actor.
He's an actor. He's gonna do I assume he's gonna do the best he can do. So I'm like, you know what? Let's see what this guy's got.
Not only that, I not only is this don't judge him just for that.
Uh-huh.
I think Robert Pattinson is underrated and very talented, and that he got just washed to the side because of Twilight.
Of course.
And so he's been doing a lot of indie projects, but he hasn't been getting his due as an actor. I am glad that he's getting something like this to come
Same.
back into the limelight.
100%.
And you also got to realize, unlike Ben Affleck or unlike Joaquin Phoenix. Well, no, like Joaquin Phoenix. This is a good example. Like Joaquin Phoenix, Robert Pattinson wouldn't have done this if there was something in the script that he was interested in.
They are both like very artistic.
Robert Pattinson. Do you know how much money Robert Pattinson has from the Twilight films?
I was talking about it last week.
He doesn't need to do a movie ever again.
He has like what, truckloads of it?
It's
I mean, as long as he's not like Nick Cage and spending it like crazy.
Why do you never see Daniel Radcliffe in a big budget blockbuster? Because he can do whatever he wants.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's the same type of thing. So he doesn't need a blockbuster. Hell, he for years didn't want a blockbuster.
Daniel Radcliffe is doing a TV show with Steve Buscemi on TBS. I just want to remind everybody that that's
he is.
happening.
And he can do it because he doesn't.
He only does what he wants to do.
He wants to do it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, sure, fudge it, why not?
Frankly, I wish more actors would be selective and not feel like I've got to stay in the limelight, Bruce Willis, and be more selective with their
Do
scripts
you
and
know
everything.
that this is a real thing?
Bruce Willis is Batman. Yes.
Bruce Willis will not shoot for more than 1 day on small movies.
Yeah, I've known that.
Any movie that's not like a Die Hard or like a huge $1 million thing, he will show up for 1 day, only 1 day,
Yeah,
to be in your straight to DVD movie.
I've heard that.
I watched a video of like 7 different straight to DVD movies where he shows up for 1 day,
Wow.
and he's in the entire movie.
Wow.
Yeah, they sell you on Bruce Willis, man. It's terrible.
Wow.
He does not care.
No, he doesn't give a shit anymore.
Anyway, I think this is great. I've been 100% for this
really
ever
excited.
since this came around, and look, the proof is in the pudding. Like, wait until the darn thing comes out.
I'm sad to say, like, when I first heard Robert Pattinson, it was that stupid clickbait article of Twilight actor is going to be Batman. And then I cringed, but I'm like, no, wait, stop doing that. I'm trying to get out of that habit of looking at clickbait articles and having my emotions go based off that stupid clickbait.
They're trying to
article.
trigger you.
Of course they are.
It was Ben Affleck that did that for me. You know, you remember? I'm sure you remember the text I sent you once. You told me that Ben Affleck was Batman. I think it was just all caps, the F word.
Right.
So I was just kind of like, after that, and after realizing how dumb that reaction was, I decided, you know what, I've been happy with the casting for DC movies. I like Henry Cavill. I like Brandon Routh.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Zachary Levi.
Yeah, Zachary
but
Levi.
But I'm talking like before
Jason Momoa.
Before Ben Affleck was signed on. Like all.
If you guys notice, it's only Batman because
that's what I'm saying.
Ben
that's what I'm saying. There is a weird gatekeeping mentality about Batman roles, and I can tell
people
you, like,
care about Aquaman when they changed him.
We were not as involved in all of this back then. I'm sure for all of us, but like go all the way back to Batman Begins. People didn't like Christian Bale for that role either.
Too thin.
Yeah, they didn't like him for that either until the movie came out.
Yeah,
they didn't like him for that. They didn't like. They didn't like. What's his name? Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy for Scarecrow.
Yeah, for Scarecrow, they didn't like him either.
Yeah, so like I realized at that moment that I really, and actually it led me down a bad path because when Jesse Eisenberg was cast as Lex Luthor, I was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna wait and see.
He is bad.
He is bad.
Yeah.
I was like for the same movie. You were like,
he's
all right,
objectively bad.
I need to lay off on Jesse Eisenberg. I was too hard on Ben Affleck, and I'm like, no, you're missing you got your wires crossed on this one.
But here's the thing: he saw the movie, he came out as like, you know, Ben Affleck was great. I feel bad saying all the bad things, but now that I saw Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I don't like him as Lex Luthor.
Granny's peach tea.
Oh, damn it.
On that note, why don't we get off this
Well,
topic?
actually, I have one little anecdote to this.
Go ahead.
Since, like Sparks, you said weird Batman gatekeeping. Isn't it funny how a lot of people get all up in arms about Batman, yet it doesn't feel like Detective Comics 1000 hasn't gotten any of the limelight since
I was talking to you about this. Like,
yeah, you and I were talking about this in the car.
Superman 1000, sorry, Action 1000 had like he was huge.
Yeah.
Detective, I feel like kind of just passed.
Hell, even
Yes, absolutely.
even people who I follow on Instagram who never talk about comics at all.
Yeah,
they put up stuff as like, I got Action 1000, and they are huge Batman fans.
Sure.
The second I heard about Detective 1000, I'm like, okay, cool, let's do this. And
it's opposite with
silence.
It's opposite with actors.
and unfortunately, a big part of what it is there's a lot of Batman oversaturation.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. There is not a lot of oversaturation of Superman right now. So when that momentous thing happens, that's a lot of people who like used to like Superman being like, I have a reason to care about this right now.
Yeah.
There is so much Batman all the time.
That's true.
That Detective Comics 1000 is like, yeah, that's really great, but like there's so much Batman all the time. Batman's on Titans. Batman's got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated film. Batman's got like 6 comics.
Batman's got 3 great PlayStation games. He's
Right.
got there's so
Batman's
much.
3
got-
Black Label books.
Batman's got a Lego movie.
Yeah.
Like
you're
there's
right, yeah.
there's a lot of Batman has Gotham, even though he's not really in it. He has
Joker's
Gotham.
coming out.
Holy shit! 3 of the 4 Black Label books have been Batman.
Yeah, we
That's
just
what
picked one
that's
up
what I'm saying.
today.
There's Batman oversaturation.
Yeah,
There is,
I didn't even think about it.
I'm not that crazy about like I don't pick up as many Batman stories, honestly. Like Tom King's Detective Comics run has been a rare thing for me
Tom
because
King's Batman run.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Don't take Tomasi's Detective Comics away
Sorry,
from me.
I know I messed that up. Sorry. Yeah, it's. I messed up at the comic store today. I realize now.
Did you miss?
I swapped them out in my brain. Yeah,
Oh, no.
Oh, did you mean to take Detective Comics off?
You wanted
did,
to keep
yeah.
Tom King. Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's fine.
That's why I was secretly sad that you were taking it off.
No, it's.
I
okay.
thought you were taking it off because he was leaving the book, like as a protest.
No. I didn't mean to do that. No. Anyway, it's hard for me to care about exploring a lot of Batman things because there's too
so
much,
much
of it.
of it.
There's
Yeah.
too much of it all the time.
Which is weird because when the New 52 started, Batman was one of the books that I was never going to take off my pull. I took Superman off, and Superman's my favorite.
Yeah, but Superman was real shit. Back
It was.
Then.
Now, with Bendis, it's like, hell yeah, Superman, and I'm just so far behind on Tom King's Batman that I just need to wait to cons to pick up the Tom King's Batman run and trade for. I will support it. I will wholeheartedly support it, but I'm just not, like, clamoring. Like, even today, I was, like, kind of, like, do I really want to pick up Last Night on Earth? Do I really?
It's 3 issues, my man.
Yes,
You
yeah,
gotta support something
It's
sometimes.
only $7 too, so like I got $7
$6.
to burn. Why not? Oh, it's cheaper,
Cheap money.
Yeah.
or cheap-ish.
Let's move off.
Yeah, let's move
Shall
on.
What were we even talking about?
Robert Pattinson.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right, so we got some trailers. 3 trailers specifically to talk about, so let's go by the smallest one, which is Jessica Jones. Technically a teaser trailer, however, it did come with a release date, June 14th, 2019.
cool.
And with a lot of profanity being yelled at Jessica, saying she's a fraud, alcoholic, narcissistic,
That sounds right.
things like that. And a synopsis was released along with it.
Oh, I hope it doesn't spoil season 2.
It does. Should I?
Sorry, guys.
Should I say it?
Well, I mean, we've seen it.
Okay, well,
I haven't.
it is a specific thing in season 2, not the entire season.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referencing
Jessica Jones.
directly. No, I'm with
They
you
haven't
there.
seen season 2, so I'm scared that the
I mean, I
synopsis
don't
is going to
care.
spoil season 2.
Oh,
I've already read it. I don't care
Why would you do that?
because I don't care.
Okay.
you can't change him not caring. He's clearly never going to pick up these shows.
No, I get it. All right, go ahead. Read the synopsis.
All right, so it says when Jessica crosses paths with a highly intelligent psychopath, she and Trish must repair their fractured relationship and team up to take him down. But a devastating loss reveals their conflicting ideas of heroism and sets them on a collision course that will forever change them both.
Nah, that doesn't spoil anything.
No, yeah, that makes perfect sense with
Yeah.
what happened in season 2.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear. It is not that I don't care about the series because I do like Jessica Jones and I like season 1 a lot. It is that I don't care about spoilers.
Oh.
When it comes to this, I just don't care.
Well, I think you'd care about spoilers more specific than that.
Well, probably. Like
Yeah.
a more specific spoiler, probably.
Like I could tell you exactly how season 2 ended, and you probably wouldn't like
I
it very
probably
much.
wouldn't want to know that.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. This I don't care.
Okay.
So season 3, the last season of the Marvel Netflix shows, last season Jessica Jones.
I'm sorry, when was it? June?
June 14th.
Oh, that's
Oh wow, that's
couple
like,
weeks.
it's E3 week.
That's why I've been hammering through them. I'm like, you know what? I want to be caught up when this is all
that's
done.
13 days away.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because they
That's awesome. I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah.
And that's cool. We can watch it.
All I have left is season 3 of Daredevil and Punisher season 2.
We
And
can
if I
actually- we can
don't
watch
get
Punisher together,
and
too.
if I don't have time for Punisher before Jessica Jones, I can always just do Jessica Jones and go back to Punisher.
Yeah.
It's not like they rely on each other.
yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, same. All right, Annabelle Comes Home also released a new trailer.
She's home.
Trailer 2. I like this trailer a lot. I'm really excited for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I was already sold. I guess we know who the main character is, and it's a babysitter lady.
Yeah,
She's probably gonna die.
It is the Warren's child, and it's the babysitter.
I like the look of the ferryman. I wish I hadn't seen it in the trailer.
Oh, really interesting. Why?
Because I remember when I saw The Conjuring 2 and I hadn't seen the
Val?
The nun?
no
Crooked Man?
yes, the Crooked Man,
There you
and
go.
I preferred not seeing the Crooked Man before I saw the movie because that is just
It's
more
spooky.
impactful and freaky because I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Well, we did see the ferryman in the first trailer.
I didn't, but it was never focused enough that I got a good look at it, so I never thought about it.
Sure.
Now I've seen it, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to see that image, and it's just like I prefer knowing very little about horror movies at this point. I'm like, if you're going to be surprised and like put off balance and scared, or even just made tense. I prefer not to have a lot of images in my head, especially if you're introducing something new to something I'm already sold on.
Now I wonder if the ferryman is the main. Obviously, Annabelle is the main.
Like the new ghoul.
Like the new thing.
Yeah.
So it's like the old man and Valak in Conjuring 2, and then there's another thing in that film. Like there's the Scarecrow in Annabelle Creation, but we don't see that thing in the trailer.
I feel like the ferryman's going to be probably just as much of a presence as the crooked man.
Yeah.
This feels like
the ferryman is them trying to do just a little to get him his own movie.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
I mean, because that's what they do now.
The Crooked Man is coming out next year, I think.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Maybe in 2 years? I know they're trying to get Conjuring 3 off the ground first.
Too bad La Llorona and The Nun have been
wow, those came out
bringing that down a little bit.
Less than a year apart from each other, didn't they?
Yeah.
And La Llorona was this year, and now we're getting this year.
2 Conjuring movies in a year.
Wow.
Like, only in a matter of months. Well, quality over quantity kind of thing, you know.
I will point out, Annabelle was not a good film, so The Nun 2 could be really good.
Are they making a Nun 2?
Yeah, it's coming out.
Oh my lord.
Hey, did I tell you my idea for what they should do for The Nun 2?
No.
Okay, this is a great place to put it. Okay, so for The Nun, it takes place, it's a prequel to The Conjuring still. Sure. It takes place in the 1950s or whatever. Because Annabelle Creation is a prequel to Annabelle, they should have The Nun 2 be a prequel to The Nun. Set it during the Crusades.
So the Nun Creation?
Yeah. Set it during the Crusades and have it be a Crusades horror movie.
I mean, that'd be cool, but they're not going to do it.
I know, but it'd be so rad, wouldn't it? Have it be about the summoning of Valak.
I thought you were going to say that it should be...
That idea's too good for them to do.
I thought you were going to say that it should be their Amityville film.
No, I don't think so. Although Valak
because that's Valak.
Valak is in the Amityville.
That's what they implied, is that Valak is the cause of Amityville.
No, I think you should go to the creation of Valak, to the summoning of Valak.
It's just weird to me if they never do Amityville. Like really.
Yeah, but they did Amityville in Conjuring 2.
No, they referenced it, but they didn't explore it.
Do you think?
Now I understand why, because it's overdone and everything.
It's like 14 films.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's just weird. It's just weird because it's their most famous case.
Yeah.
That we're going to get all these films about the Warrens, but we're never actually going to explore the most famous thing that they were involved with.
Wait for Conjuring 3, maybe.
What if? No, Conjuring 3 is set after the Conjuring 2.
Conjuring 2, yeah.
And Conjuring 2
after
just after Amityville.
Timelines.
What if Annabelle Comes Home? How the Warrens leave? Going back to Annabelle Comes Home, when the Warrens leave, they're going to the Amityville case.
I mean, cool, but that's still not actually exploring it. That's
no,
just
I know.
setup.
I just think that'd be cool.
That actually wouldn't track super well, right? Because of the daughter's age.
It depends on when Amityville.
Well, because we don't know when Annabelle Comes Home is supposed to be, because they're it's a prequel to The Conjuring, which would mean it makes no sense.
Yeah, no, I think because we see the music box very heavily in this.
It can't be.
It is between 1 and 2. It has to be.
Jeez Louise. Valak's a time traveler.
I really like the Conjuring movies, so I'm very excited for this one.
They are
I mean,
they are good. Most of them.
I'll be honest. If Annabelle Creation wasn't good, I'd be really upset this was happening.
Yes.
Because I'd be like, wow, you're just ruining the Warrens. Mm-hmm. But fortunately, Annabelle Creation was good, so I'm optimistic about this. But I'm also nervous. I'm just nervous that this could be the thing that overdoes it.
Sure.
Just because it's so much crammed into this space, and there's a lot of expectation around the House of the Warrens and a thing about it, and I'm you play this wrong and you could lose everyone on this.
Yeah. One of the scariest things about this trailer actually for me is that they use Elizabeth Warren's the senator.
2020 baby.
Lorraine Warren. They possess her voice.
Oh, sure.
And we've never heard the Warrens in that context, in the context of that in horror. They've always kind of been the comforting presence. So hearing may I speak to Annabelle coming from Vera Farmiga? I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
She needs a soul.
Yeah, I thought that was real good. Ben, you're a fan of The Conjuring.
No.
You will be by the month's end, my friend.
Good luck.
Buddy, we're doing an episode on it.
Shit.
Yeah.
Hey man, you've watched a lot of horror movies. You're going to be fine.
I've watched 4.
In your entire
life. Now you're going to watch 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's a quick turn.
I guess we're not going to talk about Curse of La Llorona when we do it, though.
No. Look, I've seen it. It's not a Conjuring movie if you cut out 5 seconds, and it's not a Conjuring movie.
That's a bummer.
That is how much of a Conjuring film it is. It doesn't...
and it's not good.
It's
just like James Wan coming into the frame. Conjuring!
I'm going to tell you the connective tissue.
I think you already did. It's like the priest or something.
The priest is the same priest from Annabelle.
Yeah.
And what he does is, in one bit, he's like, I once dealt with a doll, and now you'll never see me for the rest of the movie. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is a Conjuring movie.
I guess this is just as much a Conjuring movie as Shazam or Aquaman.
I guess so.
That's true. That's true.
Because Annabelle's in both of those.
Yeah.
We don't have a guy saying it, but like there's the doll, so I guess
Guys,
so.
If this is like a secret weird like prequel, like 30-year prequel to like a Zatanna or like a magic.
This is Ben's thing.
Holy
That's
shit!
my idea.
Really?
This is how it came about.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Was because that was the idea. You guys gave me the idea of writing a Batman Zatanna story about.
Oh
if
yeah,
Annabelle,
that's
if
right.
Annabelle's part of the DC films.
I even just wrote down like to try and brainstorm ideas for a medieval fantasy.
So you got to
horror
watch
film.
these for research.
Apparently, I do.
Damn, dude. You have to.
I have The Nun through The Conjuring
I know
2.
you do.
You should watch it. The
Which
only
is
reason why I
funny.
bought The Nun is because there was a gap right there. I was like, I could put that right there very easily.
Need it.
Yeah, which is funny because I want to try and write these horror stories, and I don't like horror stuff. No, I don't like horror films.
my friend,
but I love going to Halloween Horror Nights and not Scary Farm.
My friend,
Why am I this way?
you cannot say that you don't like horror movies anymore. I'm sorry. Your favorite film last year was Halloween.
It was one of my favorite films. From
I
last
mean,
year.
but that does.
Yeah,
You can't say you don't like them. You can say that they freak you out.
You liked it, didn't you?
I did like it,
There you go.
Yeah.
and then I just have to get ready because
It Chapter 2.
I gotta tell you,
baby.
I know sparks heard me groan the second we saw that.
Real
trailer.
quick, like I saw that trailer like 3 times, but I didn't notice how creepy the old lady was in the background.
Neither did I.
On the IMAX screen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like she was just like contorting in the back
Yeah.
and just like peeking out. I'm like, this
Oh,
is
no,
sinister. I never noticed
Yeah.
it.
I clocked that.
That's
for
pretty
sure.
freaky, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Chapter 2, baby, looks good.
All right.
IMAX Ben.
IMAX, Ben.
I've never seen a horror movie in IMAX. That
Neither
would
have I.
kill
I think
me.
I have it.
That would make me poop my pants.
All right. Speaking of pooping your pants,
Oh.
Death Stranding.
Oh my god, tomorrow is in our
Oh
hands,
my
guys.
god!
All right, so Death Stranding is the game we've been talking about for so long. I did not realize that it was going to be this year.
Nobody did. Nobody did. All of us thought this was going to be much later.
Yeah, an 8-minute trailer was released this week with a release date of November 8th,
With
2019, with gameplay.
So here's
Game's done.
So
Oh, can I read what
please read it.
Kojima said about it?
Kojima-san.
So Kojima posted something on his Instagram. He says it's a quote from him. It's not necessarily a synopsis, but it does say what the game is about. People have built walls. He puts those in quotes, and become accustomed to living in isolation. Quote, Death Stranding is a completely new type of action game where the player's goal is to reconnect isolated cities in a fragmented society. All elements, including the story and gameplay, are bound together by the theme of, quote, strand, or connection. As Sam Porter bridges, you will attempt to bridge, quote, these divisions, and it's important to put the quotes in there.
He's not subtle.
And in doing so, create new bonds, or, quote, strands, with other players around the globe. Through your experience playing the game, I hope you'll come to understand the game. I hope you'll come to understand the true importance of forging connections with others. Now, please enjoy the latest Death Stranding trailer.
Please enjoy.
I can't wait to Die Hard, man.
Guys, when I saw that, I lost my shit.
There's a character named Die
I
Hardman.
thought you were kidding.
No.
Die Hard, man.
That's
No.
Die Hard.
And Nicholas Winding Refn, the director, is playing a guy named Heartman, and Guillermo del Toro is playing Die Man. Oh my god. Guys, Hideo Kojima is maybe the best video game director of all time, because he, in 1999, when the first Metal Gear came out, it was the first time that cinematics were truly, like, in a video game. Like, truly, like, cinematic, like, Uncharted, God of War, like...
Final Fantasy to
yeah,
follow.
it was, like, truly the first time it was, like, filmmaking. And, like, he set a precedent. And the Metal Gear games, you guys know how much I love them. They are cinematic... they're cinematically unparalleled in video games, and you've seen in this trailer, it looks very emotional, it looks very crazy. Be prepared for this game to be way smaller than you can even possibly imagine, because that game is not coming out 2 years after it was announced, and it'd be a big game. Because Metal Gear Solid 5 took 5 years to make, and that's one of the biggest games ever made. It's huge. So dial down your expectations. It's going to have a crazy story and a decent open world.
The idea that we're seeing is that it is an open world in America, and
Destroyed America.
you play this character going around to connect cities. My whole thing is, I'm worried that as excited as this looks, and this does look good, I'm worried that it won't be the game for me.
It's not going to be.
That's unfortunate.
It's okay. the best way I can describe Kojima and Metal Gear and Zone of the Enders, which is his mech series that takes place in space, because it's not just a Metal Gear guy.
Sure.
They are very complicated, convoluted, very like almost like Godzilla King of the Monsters-esque, like insane plots with crazy weapons. But it's all realistic, super realistic. Like, everything is explained with nanotechnology, and so there's a lot of magic, but it's all science-based. And it's very crazy. This is magic. This is nonsense bullshit. And it's the first time Kojima's been allowed to do what he wants. So I think it's going to make less sense than Metal Gear. And that's not for most people. I love Twin Peaks. I don't need Twin Peaks explained to me. I don't need everything explained to me.
I'll tell you what. What I will do is, because again, this looks good, I would like to play it. But if it's not the game for me, then it's not the game for me.
Yeah.
But when you guys play it, because I'm assuming the three of you will. At one point, at least I know two of you.
I'll probably play it after he gives me the yes or no. And I'll point to Ryan.
I'm biased.
I know you're biased.
What I'm trying to say is, Ben, if you can compare it to a game that you know I like, then you can't do that right now because you haven't played it yet.
It's also a small list.
I'll tell you the closest game. It's Horizon Zero Dawn, which is the Monster Hunter game from the West, because it's using the same engine and the same. It looks. If you've seen comparisons of the games, it looks the same. The move's the same. The grass is the same.
What I'm saying is, when you play it,
yeah,
and you can compare it to a game I like, because from this trailer I can't get anything from this.
You have not played a game like this before.
Let me finish.
No, I know what you're saying.
And if you can do that, then I will. Because you can't say that because you haven't played it.
No, I know, but I'm telling you, Brandon, as someone who knows this guy's entire filmography, if I don't think you would like 9/10 of it, I don't think you'll like the 10th of it.
But you've told me I might like the Metal Gear games.
Did I?
Yeah, multiple people have told me I might like the Metal Gear games. Actually,
you might. It's definitely. It's a type of thing where it doesn't explain anything to you, and you just have to go with it. And I just don't think you're normally the type of person who's okay with that. Mm-hmm. And especially with Japanese video games, it is so nonsensical, but in a fun way where you just go along for the ride, like a Twin Peaks. Can you explain Twin Peaks to the world? No, but it's still great, right?
I mean, I can't.
But you know what I mean.
But like, you can only explain it in like the broadest terms.
Yes, it's something where like. Video essays and years will go by before people really unearth everything in this game, much like Metal Gear. People are still finding out stuff about Metal Gear 30 years later. So I'm excited, simply because Kojima is a madman, and we don't have a lot of video game madmen. Truly, he's a madman, and I love it.
All right, then, should we move on?
Hey, welcome to the Fake Nerd Comic Book Store. Can I help you find anything today?
Yeah, hi. Do you have any books?
Can you be more specific?
Anything readable?
All right, then we're changing it up. You may have heard our intro in the beginning here. We're changing it up. We're doing our book club first, and we're going to do a review last. The idea was, end on a higher note, because we were all pretty lukewarm on this comic, I think is the generous way to put that.
Yes. I actually like this book less after seeing the movie.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so this is Godzilla Aftershock. It is a comic book prequel to the 2019 Godzilla King of the Monsters and a sequel to Godzilla. I think it more closely resembles a sequel to Godzilla than a prequel to King of the Monsters. So let's just around the horn. Ryan, we gave your initial thoughts already, so I'm going to skip you.
It's bad.
Sparks, do you want to say your initial thoughts of this book?
I recently reread Godzilla Awakening and Skull Island.
Both of them
Birth
are
of Kong,
prequels to
which,
the...
to tell you the truth, Skull Island, I know it's billed as a prequel. It is 100% a sequel to Kong. I don't know why they bill it as a prequel. Mm-hmm. You have to have seen the movie to enjoy that book.
Weird.
I don't know why they bill it as a prequel. Anyway, both of those are the tie-ins for the previous two MonsterVerse films. I think both of them are solid stories in their own right. I think Skull Island is the best of them. Godzilla Awakening does what it can with being a prequel to that movie. You can only world build so much.
Yeah.
And I think it does a pretty good job and has a cool art style. This adds very little and doesn't develop the characters very well, and the art style, frankly, is boring.
Ben?
Actually, I read this a few days ago, and I completely forgot. I was like...
You forgot the whole book?
Almost, yeah. I was like, what happened in this book again? It's very forgettable. only the good things about this book is that it explains some things from Godzilla 2014. Like, Brandon, right before we started recording this, you said you flipped to a page that Sparks was flipping, and I was like, hey, that's the skeleton we see in 2014 Godzilla. It's like, maybe it explains the Mutos, which, okay, I didn't really need the Mutos explained.
It's an origin... Well, truthfully, I did.
I didn't.
I don't think the explanation in this book is good, but I would like the Mutos to be explained.
The whole Muto Prime thing, I was like, whatever.
What Ben is referencing is that the skeleton they meet in 2014 is one of Godzilla's species. We know how that Godzilla came to be, and Godzilla died, which is kind of neat. Like, I'm very much of the same mind as you all. It's
not that good.
Though I don't hate it. It's fine. It's kind of inconsequential to everything, which is unfortunate.
It really is.
In its own right.
For a prequel, that's supposed to be like, oh, this sets up it does not set up anything, and the stuff it does with the characters is.
And I really like. Well, just real quick, Ben. I just want to get through what I'm trying to say. I really like comic book prequels to movies. I think they're a lot of fun, and I've been dying I was dying for one between Days of Future Past and First Class or something.
Good luck.
For those X-Men movies, I would love a comic book prequel because I think they're fun and they're a nice way to kind of do something interesting. This is just kind of meanders.
Yeah.
And Chapter 3, I check out completely.
Yeah, the only good thing about this book that can help explain something to you is how Godzilla's dorsal fins changed from 2014 to 2019.
And that's not even a real thing.
Yeah.
They get broken.
Yeah, they break off.
Kamacuras? Sparks? Kamacuras?
I think it's just a reference to like how they function as mates, like praying mantises.
Oh, okay.
Because they'll kill the
lover.
Yeah,
probably. Because I thought there's a praying mantis, as I thought for sure. Kamacuras, who is a giant praying mantis.
The thing about this book for me is like it is inconsequential, and like, of course, when you're writing a comic that's a prequel to a movie, you can't do big, huge things in the book. We've talked about this with any type of mid of the road series that's interconnected.
It's the Spider-Man sequel.
The Spider-Man, City of War situation. Yeah. For me, there was nothing to these characters, and specifically Charles Dance's character, Alan Jonah.
Yeah,
I think that's his name. The worst villain, has no reason being there. He gets captured, captured, and then he escapes. Captured, escapes, like 3 times in this book.
I should forgot about that.
I don't know his reasoning and the movie.
He gets captured and escapes.
Yes,
and then he gets caught in the trap and he's arrested.
Okay.
That's where we leave him.
Gotcha.
And then somehow he's unarrested all these years later with troops and everything in the movie.
I even read this book like last night and I already kind of forgot half of it, to be honest.
I only remembered that because I was flipping through because I had to flip through after we saw the movie and be like, what happened with Charles Dance's character in the comic? How did he end up where he was in the movie? And the answer is, who knows?
I don't get a sense of his character in this book at all.
Okay, so I want to touch on a couple of things. So this takes place in 2014.
Yes.
Not that long after the first movie.
No.
Everybody is kind of tiptoeing around why Emma Russell remembers San Francisco, which she'll just drop like, oh, believe me, I know what San Francisco was like. And it's like, okay, but we're not going to like say what that was. And as a comic reader who hadn't seen the movie, I was like, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Now having seen the movie and knowing spoilers for the movie, because we're going to review it in a little bit, but she lost her son
in San Francisco.
It's right at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
It's important to her character development, and this is supposed to take place in the same year, and she is walking around no problems, not acting like she just lost her son, not addressing, like, just in the continuity of how this is supposed to go with the movie.
Is that why you said, in the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that's why? Wow. Because this comic doesn't do anything for you, and once you see the movie, it makes no sense. This is in the same year she loses her son, that they supposedly moved to Boston and kind of took some time.
A couple months after.
Yeah, but they supposedly moved to Boston at some point, and they were trying to make it work for a little while. But not in this comic. In this comic, nope, they're already split up, and she's moved on. She's not even thinking about her son. She's not an emotional wreck. She's not anything. She's not even talking about how she's driven by it.
One panel.
He's in one phone call, one video call.
Geez.
That makes no sense in relation to the film. And it does nothing to build her character because guess what? She doesn't have a character in this. She doesn't. She's just a person, and it makes no congruent sense.
The artist absolutely traces Vera Farmiga's face, and it's gross. I don't like artists who trace.
Yeah.
Because they're always flat and lifeless.
And my least favorite thing about this is the kind of prequel comic that I really don't like, and I hate that this happened with this because the other 2 MonsterVerse comics never did this, where you take a panel and then the next panel is you on the previous panel just zooming in. And you just do that over and over again
just like
for
the-
certain character
just
features.
lazy.
It's lazy, and it conveys nothing visually. I might as well have read a book of this, because visually I get nothing from it.
It's so interesting because, and again, I haven't read the other two prequel comics or whatever, but like
I'd recommend Awakening.
this feels like it was rushed, and like the art's not great, the writing's not great, and the other two books are good. So I'm wondering like why did this one get the short shafts?
I feel like Awakening helped because it didn't need to do a whole lot,
Yeah.
and the script for Godzilla isn't really that complicated. It's
But like
really-
the art was good on the other two books, right?
right,
Yes.
Kong also benefited from the fact that it came out months after that movie, so like I feel like context was had at that
Yeah.
point.
But it's all the more reason that they just shouldn't have done this if they weren't going to do something with it. I dislike, and we'll get into it with the movie, but I dislike that both Charles Dance's character and Vera Farmiga's character are very present in this book, and it does nothing to further them as characters.
I didn't even know it was Charles Dance.
It
It wasn't
does-
until I got to the big close-up of his face that I thought to myself...
Yeah, because it doesn't even look like him
I was
till
like,
that.
oh no, is he...
I watched
is that...
the movie twice and I didn't know it was Charles
Yeah,
Dance.
because I was hoping that Charles Dance's character was going to be an older Tom Hiddleston from Kong Skull Island.
We were all hoping
That
that
would
was
be
going to be a
cool.
thing.
Apparently not. He's just a...
That's not the Kong Skull Island
We'll,
character.
we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
We will. But, this... And also, they don't use Godzilla's correct onomatopoeia. They just
Legendary
have-
doesn't have the rights to the onomatopoeia.
That's a thing.
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Well,
Lawyers.
So that's why that's the
Lawyers are dumb.
real quickly. I think it is a huge mistake for Legendary to even have a comic line. One of that is one of the many reasons that I think so. The onomatopoeia and Godzilla himself are owned by IDW.
Oh, okay.
IDW should be putting out MonsterVerse comics.
Yeah.
100%. Revive that Godzilla line in the MonsterVerse. You can make some awesome stories.
I wonder if that's
Right
a Toho
there.
thing they're gonna do.
Maybe.
Hey,
yeah. Also, quick question: what was the whole deal with the like the ancient Phoenician cave paintings? That...
You mean Seatopia?
No, we're not there yet.
Isn't that what that is?
No, it's not.
Then what is that?
It is.
It's the Phoenicians.
Yeah,
It's the Phoenicians.
Phoenix people?
It's a civilization that's not as old as the Greeks. They're a little younger, but they're still like ancient. They worshipped
yeah,
Godzilla.
they worship Godzilla, but it's like every chapter opens and ends with
Because they needed to fill pages.
Well, no, what it's doing, and to their credit, I think they actually don't. I think those are the best parts of the movie. The book. The idea is that these are people who worship Godzilla, and you get the sense again, like in the 2014 film, like in King of the Monsters, that these were once gods, once
Yeah,
worshipped as gods.
They're just hammering that idea home. The thing that I don't like about it, and I know you didn't reread it, but Godzilla Awakening did this and did it better.
Oh,
I
yeah?
didn't need it rehashed in Aftershock.
Oh, did
Yeah.
they really do that?
Yes, they
Oh.
really did. Because, again, they had so little to build on because they are a prequel to that movie. They spent more dedicated time. It's not just like a thing at the beginning, and it is a whole section of that book.
Okay.
And it's better art, frankly, and it's the same kind of like what Godzilla
Do
meant
you
to
have
ancient
Awakening?
people. No, I don't. I
do if you
reread
want-
it.
I do if you want to borrow it.
Maybe.
Yeah. So comparatively, I'm like, we didn't need this again, especially because the movie will also revisit it. Like, that's as cool as much as that. I agree with you, Brandon. It is probably the best part of this book. It's not necessary in this book. We get that idea hammered home plenty. Don't need it here.
And I honestly like. I didn't need another Muto, if I'm being honest.
Here's a good point, good way to segue into the villain of this book is Muto is a Muto Prime.
trying to impregnate
or
Godzilla.
Jinshin Mushi. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
it's
Jinshin
a-
Mushi.
Jinshin Mushi.
I got it. Hold up.
I think I said it right, Ben.
Wants to impregnate Godzilla.
What happened is in 2014 we saw that the two parasites, the male and the female Mutos, had burrowed into a Godzilla creature and killed it essentially, absorbing its atomic radiation, and then had to go find more, which is why the younger Muto was dormant for many years. So this tries to explain basically the Muto's mating period, the Muto's gestation period. The idea that there is this Muto Prime that impregnates a Godzilla with Mutos, a male and a female, and then they go out and they create more Mutos. And I guess that's what happened. It is not well explained in this book.
No.
It is poorly done. The best explanation, Ben, if I may, the best explanation of the Muto Prime, and it's
Is in like the back thing?
is in the back.
Yeah, I read that thing. Yeah,
Like-
the dragon beetle or something.
This Jinshin Mushi,
Yeah.
this little thing
Dragon
does a better job of explaining what the hell this book is talking about than the book does.
That's a problem.
That really ticks me off.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, you said it right.
Yeah, it's right there, Ben.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, all the characters from the movie are in it, but like you can't
We do
tell.
see that Godzilla, by the way, before he's a skeleton.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Like the 2014 thing, it acknowledges that, hey, those parasites were in it, and like when they stab into it, those things drain the radiation and kill Godzilla, and that's what happened with this other species of Godzilla. That's why there was a skeleton, the parasites in it, blah blah blah.
Still would love to see
Houston Brooks, who shows up in the movie for a brief moment, we'll talk about it when we get to the movie review. He's also in this book. Houston Brooks is the character with who was part of Monarch, going with John Goodman in Skull Island.
The guy who had the theory about the Hollow Earth.
Yes, and he is now older. In the Skull Island comic, his son is the focal point of that comic, and his character carries over. And here he actually talks to Emma about his son Aaron, and that Aaron paid the price, and that's a reference to the Skull Island comic.
Interesting.
Which is pretty good. Awesome doesn't make this comic good, but cool that they're at least having the continuity of Houston Brooks as a running through line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love an IDW line of MonsterVerse
Hey,
comics.
do you guys remember how they created this character named Tarkin? Who
Yeah.
was protecting Emma Russell?
I do.
And I don't know why he's important.
Oh yeah.
And he never shows up in the movie.
Why is he not in the movie?
He gets arrested at the end of this book. He's just like, so I guess my security clearance is
No,
voided.
that's the.
That's the other dude.
I don't remember Tarkin at all then.
Tarkin is the guy who kind of looks like Kyle Chandler, but like more rugged.
Oh yeah. Also, in this book,
This dude right here.
Oh yeah.
And he's protecting her throughout the book, but they don't have any real character conversations with each other.
Also in this book, they explain why the thing is called the Orca, which is kind of a visual gag.
Is it like
So-
organic? Right.
We'll get into it in the review, but there is a MacGuffin called the Orca in the movie, and in this book, it is explained that she created a prototype of this thing out of a killer whale keyboard.
Which the movie,
right.
which the movie violates because Kyle Chandler's character is the person who created
Yeah.
the prototype to study whales.
Yes, that's true. Wow, it's like they didn't even talk to each
This
other.
this doesn't line up with the movie. It doesn't expand on the characters. It's not very interesting in the art, even for the monsters. The whole thing is weak.
It is a keyboard.
The whole thing is weak.
Yeah.
This is so disappointing in comparison to their other
Yeah, it's a
two.
bummer. Especially after reading, like, it's not related, but
Half Century War.
another Godzilla book where I'm like, wow.
Man, going from Half Century War to this.
And the thing is, like, having seen the film, I can see where you could have built on, like, strong character stuff. Made me more invested in both Charles Dance's character and Vera Farmiga's with doing this story right to connect to the film. But because none of that is there, this is just trash. This is just, I don't care.
I felt like you were just about to throw it.
I really
And, like,
debate it.
Not to start talking about the movie, but, like, I didn't care for many of the characters in there. And if they would have portrayed them in here, giving them motivations, then I would give it some leeway.
Right.
But this book does nothing for anyone.
Comic book prequels operate much in the same way as expanded universe novels for Star Wars. They can
Don't matter.
They not only that, but they can take a character that you don't get a lot of, and you build on them. You create a story around them, so that way when you see them again in the movie, you have a new context for seeing them, and you're like, oh, I like that character because of this supplementary material. That's what a prequel comic purpose could serve.
Yeah.
This book kind of makes me hate the characters more.
It just doesn't give me... Yeah.
I also really hate the way he draws Sally Hawkins, by the way.
Yeah, I don't care for that either.
Oh, that's supposed to be Sally Hawkins!
What is this?
Yeah, what is this pose?
This pose... I never thought I wanted to see Sally Hawkins' butt.
You know what? I saw that, right? I remember that. I forgot about it, and then I'm looking, I was like, why is he drawing her like she's...
Promiscuously.
When he draws
didn't know that was Sally
wide
Hawkins.
angles of her and Vera Farmiga, they're not great.
Hey,
Wow.
Sally Hawkins, the mother of Paddington, I don't think I want to see in that pose.
She loves fish.
I also don't like how he draws Ken Watanabe.
I
Every time he draws Ken Watanabe, his arms are crossed.
It took me a couple pages before I realized these were the characters from the movie.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, oh, is that Vera Farmiga? And I was like, oh, is that Ken? Oh, boy.
Vera Farmiga, I knew immediately because he traces her face.
Yeah.
I was like, that is
I
Vera
saw
Farmiga.
Emma Russell, and I was like, so that has to be her, right? And then I was like, oh, this is really it.
She conveys no emotion. Again, like, I have a problem that this is supposed to be just shortly following the loss of her son. That makes no sense.
The beginning of the movie.
And the way that everybody, like, talks around it, but talks around it like it's not a big deal. Not like they're nervous about bringing it up around her or how she'll react, but, like, hey, I know San Francisco, and they're like, yeah. Not a, yeah, I'm really sorry about that or anything. It's just like,
me feel like they didn't actually know what the movie was going to be.
I'm
They're
sure.
like, hey, she had a bad time in San Francisco. Write about that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to tell you actually what happened.
But that's at the detriment of the book.
Yes.
Especially because, like, there's no reason to have hidden that detail since it, like you said, it is the opening of the movie. You don't need to hide that for a comic that's coming out the week of the film.
Godzilla Awakening, which is the first Godzilla prequel, is written by Max Borenstein, who is the writer of Godzilla 2014.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
This book is written by Arvid Nelson and drawn by Drew Edward Johnson. None of these people have credits in that new movie.
Yeah.
Shocking.
This feels like a work. Just get it out.
This sucks. It sucks because the previous outings for tie-ins to the films have been good.
Yeah.
And this was disappointing, to say the least. Oh, and how you do all of these panels with Vera Farmiga and she never once expresses an emotion baffles me. Just baffles me.
Because he had one picture reference and he just ran with that.
None of the characters really. They're all just boring.
Again, I still don't believe it that's Charles Dance.
I don't believe I read this book, actually. I think it's just wiped from my brain.
I keep forgetting about stuff that happens in this book because I got something a lot better.
All right, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Movie time.
All right.
I might return this.
And on that happy note, let's move on to some more screonkling.
What?
Screonkling? It's like spelunking, but it's with screonks. Screonkling.
Oh, I'm into it.
Yeah, there you go. Ryan's into this.
I like cave diving, yeah.
All right, cave diving with Godzilla.
Yeah. A big cave.
We are reviewing Godzilla King of the Monsters
Are
this week.
Godzilla's spine stalactites or stalagmites?
Yes.
We are reviewing Godzilla King of the Monsters this week. So full spoilers for the latest in the Monsterverse, the latest Godzilla film. If you have not seen the movie, go to your nearest movie theater, go see it, or carry on at your own
See
leisure.
it on the big screen.
But you have been warned. Spoilers from here on out.
I don't know why
Godzilla's
you're
in it.
listening if you weren't prepared. Here we go.
Yeah.
So it's Ben. Initial thoughts, my friend.
I freaking loved it.
Okay, Ryan.
I liked it.
All right, Sparks.
I had a good time.
All right, that's it. Thanks for coming, guys. I'm kidding. All right, so let's get into it. So the movie starts.
What did you think?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
So the movie.
We knew it.
Oh yeah. I didn't want to tell you because I was worried.
We
that
knew.
If I
You didn't need to tell us. We knew.
if I had told you, I feel like you would have gone in with higher expectations.
I'm, if anything, I'm glad because you might like it less then
Yeah.
if you had higher expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted you. I just want everyone to like things. So this movie starts in 2014.
Yeah.
It starts it starts during the final fight.
Guys, this movie
2014
is
movie.
very reminiscent at the beginning of BVS for me. And not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes place during the big event from the last movie and it transitions to the future with
we
new characters.
we see Aaron Taylor Johnson's character skydiving. We just see like the lights.
Yeah,
falling.
but it's not meant to give a worse perspective of that event.
No.
It's just meant to be that event again.
I like that.
Well, kind of. It's kind of meant to give a worse perspective because it's them not being able to find their son.
True.
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
tragedy
did.
that we had not seen because in Godzilla 2014, the characters we followed reunited.
Yeah.
And
they
we're
applaud,
fine.
They applaud armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. And then we see them screaming, and then and then Godzilla breaks through a building and roars.
And Vera Farmiga's all like, "Oh, you mother!"
And then Kyle, what's his name?
Chandler.
Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler looks up, sees Godzilla, and then
He plays Mark Russell.
Mark Russell.
Yeah.
Mark Russell is the writer of the Flintstones comic.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Lord.
You're right. Right, so we're introduced to Vera Farmiga on the off. She is the character we follow until we meet Millie Bobby Brown, and then Mothra. It's kind of how the events of the opening go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that Mothra scene.
I did too.
That opening Mothra scene.
I the lava scene, right?
Yeah,
I love both scenes Mothra was in.
I like the design. Mothra has the biggest redesign of all the monsters. I kind of into it. I like the new look for Mothra.
Yeah.
It grew on me.
The larva form could have been cuter.
It could have been cute.
I don't know. I always thought the larva. I never liked the larva form.
That larva form's
Oh, it's so cute.
that larva form's pretty cute, my friend.
I'm sorry. No,
You know what my favorite
I'm not
larva
into
form
it.
is? Shin Godzilla.
Oh boy.
Wiggle worm, baby.
Why'd you have to do that?
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm gonna like mix all my negatives and my pros here. In that first scene with Millie Bobby Brown and Vera Farmiga, there's this whole thing where she brings up, "Dad's been emailing me," and there's this weird attitude that Emma Russell, Vera Farmiga's character, puts out of, like almost implying that her dad is dangerous.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And the film never really explains or explores that. And I was like,
if anything, she's the way worse parent.
Yeah. Well, she's just like pathologically trying to turn her against her father.
I think what it's supposed to be is because he became an alcoholic and left, he abandoned the family. So like she has resentment to that.
I get it. I didn't like the way that the film handled this idea of her kind of promoting her daughter to not like her father.
Sure.
I didn't like it, mostly because I think there was never proper time given to it for it to be anything, so I could have just done without it.
See, my problem with that is it was a lot of telling me, not showing me. So it was like, yeah, I was an alcoholic. I hate that she saw me that way.
Sure.
And it was just a lot of like, oh, I was a bad dad. I'm like, yeah, but like, telling me this is not going to make me feel that you're a bad dad.
Yeah.
Because you're a great dad right now.
Because everything.
Just by virtue of not being Vera Farmiga, he's a great dad.
Oh, 100%.
And even when like they show any flashbacks of them, it's always happy flashbacks of the family.
Yeah.
Ben, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say that I was totally fine with them. Okay, full thing. I mean the human stuff in this movie, it's fine. It's a lot better than 2014. But I'm not here for human shit. I'm not. I'm here for giant monsters beating the ever-loving shit out of each other.
I agree with you.
Same thing with Pacific Rim. I'm there for robots fighting monsters. I got what I wanted. I freaking love this movie. And that being said, when people are bitching about, oh, there's like the human stuff was bad, I thought it was fine. I could actually relate to the parents kind of going at each other.
Ben, I'm going to systematically tell you why I dislike almost half these characters in this movie.
Okay.
But not right now.
Yeah, but I'm saying their story arc was fine.
Can I bounce off of that?
I can live with it.
Yeah.
Can I bounce off of that real quick? So if you want to split this movie up, it's 50% monsters, 25% humans, 25% humans, because the human plot line is split between two subplots that inform each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think the stuff with Monarch, Kyle Chandler, Sarazawa, all them, I'm way into that. I like those characters. I'm so into that plot line. I like that. Vera Farmiga, Charles Dance, I like Millie Bobby Brown, but that whole subplot, check out.
I agree. I also think, I think Millie Bobby Brown should not have been in this movie. I think she detracts from the main characters, and I think she's just to be a kid. She's just a kid in this movie, and I think a lot of the drama is taken away when you already have a child who's lost, and then you have this child with plot armor, with Ghidorah literally falling in front of her like it's nothing. I think if you would have got rid of the first child, got rid of Millie, and focus on the two adults and their drama of them being married and divorced and all that stuff.
I'm going to counter that and say that what I think actually didn't need to be in this movie is Charles Dance. And if Charles Dance wasn't in this movie and Vera Farmiga was just straight up the person making these decisions, and Millie Bobby Brown was the sounding board off of that, then she's useful. That story makes sense. It's now this thing between that family and Monarch.
That's fine,
Charles Dance wasn't necessary for this.
I think the crux of my problem here is there's too many characters.
Yeah, like Charles Dance, he's kind of going off a Half-Century War. He's kind of like Discount Deverich.
And I say that
Vera Farmiga is Deverich.
No, yeah.
Is Deverich.
And I say that liking every moment that he's in just because I like the way he talks.
Who, Charles Dance?
So, yeah. But I say, like, he was the unnecessary element. I don't think Millie Bobby Brown was the unnecessary element. I think she was just executed poorly into the structure of the story they wanted to
I think
tell.
if you lose Charles Dance and Millie Bobby Brown, you have a much stronger, tighter, focused story.
I think if you lose just Charles Dance, you have a stronger story.
Yeah.
Because I know you guys like Charles Dance from
Game of
Thrones.
He's also the villain in Last Action.
He's also in Dracula Untold.
He's also in Alien 3.
He has. This has the same ending as Dracula Untold, with Charles Dance looking at the camera going, well, the game is on.
Oh my god, it's
he
true.
doesn't say that,
the game
he
is on.
says we'll take it.
I don't care. It's the same thing.
It's the Weekly Planet, the game is on.
Yeah. I think that Charles Dance is his whole thing comes to nothing. It's dumb.
I agree with you. He's at least a great B-movie British bad guy. Vera Farmiga is phoning in half of this performance.
That is true.
And that's disappointing. Mm-hmm. Charles Dance is at least committing to the B-movie he is in.
And honestly, I think that's why I like the Monarch plotline. Because everyone in that room is committed.
And it was so disappointing that Vera Farmiga was phoning in half of this. I was so sad. I was like, why? You're so good. Why are you throwing half of this away?
Yeah, all the Monarch stuff I like.
Yeah, all of Kyle's, like, one of what's her name?
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah. Like, when she called in and did her, like, I'm the bad guy, this is my bad guy reasoning call. Like, she was just, like, being very monotone. But, Kyle, what's his name?
Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler.
Why can I not remember their names?
You're normally very good at names.
normally, yeah, you're right. I'm not. But when Kyle
No,
Chandler,
no. I'm serious. You're much better at like remembering names than I am.
really?
Yeah, like you can remember character names that I wouldn't even begin to remember.
Probably because they're character names, not their real life names.
Oh, maybe.
But anyways, but when he's yelling, like him, he's like fully committed.
You're out of your goddamn mind.
Yeah. He's into it. He's like, hey, you're creepy, and she's like, and this is something you can't run from. I'm like, was that supposed to be hurtful?
And now see,
Yeah, because he ran from his dead son.
and that's what I'm talking about. A lot of why I like the Monarch section of this is because every single one of those people on that super awesome ship
Yeah, it was cool.
is committed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're 100% committed to the dialogue they're spewing.
And that's awesome. And the sad part about that is that you have a lot of talent on that ship not being utilized most of the time.
Sure.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.,
Yeah.
not in this movie nearly enough
Yeah.
for
But
how
he does-
excited I bet he was to be there.
But he does get that good one F-bomb.
He transports a lot. He has some
Yeah.
sort of transporter.
Yeah.
But he does get that line of when Ghidorah first rises from the ice. He's like, "Oh, you gotta be effing kidding me!" I'm like, "Okay."
Can
yeah,
we?
you
Can
get
we?
that
Speaking of that awesome ship, can we?
The Argo?
The Argo. I really hope I'm not alone in thinking this, but the Rodan sequence is awesome.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
You're
The-
not alone.
the
That's
moment-
great.
I mean, all the kaiju stuff I
The
like.
moment Rodan comes off of and like this comes with like this works for me specifically in the Rodan sequence when Rodan goes after the Argo, is flying after the Argo, shooting down all those ships, and you got Rick. I forgot his last name, but I forgot his actor name too. The white-haired old man scientist guy. The actor name.
Bradley Whitford?
Bradley Whitford.
Oh, okay.
When he's there, he's like, "Oh, gold team, do da da da," and it was like, "Hold on, guys!" And like, everyone's into that. I'm like, I'm so into
Yeah.
this.
Rodan doing barrel rolls and like
Yeah.
his flame is like lighting people on fire.
Like shooting up into the sky,
Yeah,
like how
Really,
they're trying to
that
get
pilot who ejected from
how
the
they're trying to
cockpit?
get Rodan to Monster Zero, and they're just like they're into the scene, and they're like, "Go, go, go!"
60 seconds.
Kyle
Yes.
Chandler's trying to drop the thing. It's like I'm into that sequence.
No, it's a really great sequence. It is 100%. I do want to keep us, I think, on the human stuff and then go to the monster
Sure,
stuff
sure,
because
sure,
I feel like we'll all have more nice things to say about the monster
I
stuff.
have nothing mean to say really about the
Yeah,
monster
yeah,
stuff.
exactly. So like we'll gush and gab and,
Yeah.
and go out on a high note. Human wise, I told you this right after we saw it, Brandon. I have a big problem that Kyle Chandler carries over, the same problem I had with Aaron Taylor Johnson, where he suddenly becomes the everyman.
Yeah.
He does every important thing and makes every important decision in the movie for the most part, which makes no sense because he's the guy who got called in and brought in and like,
was
hey
taking
man,
pictures of
we
a
just
wolf.
we just need you to find Orca. And he's like, hold on, I think I can figure this out. Open the shield doors. Oh, look, he's tracking here. Well, we got to go to Antarctica.
He has like
You
a
do all these things, and
personal
it's like
relationship with Godzilla now too.
Ken Watanabe and Sally
Hawkins.
Hawkins and Bradley Whitford and Thomas Middleditch are all these actors who are talented and on this ship and have been more involved, and none of them are making these calls. What?
Yeah.
Way to waste your cast. All of these little things that he does that Marc winds up doing should have been delegated to different characters, and he just should have had a clear path that was tied to what he was capable of and
I agree.
his family. The fact that he suddenly is like responsible for every important thing in the movie, hated it. It felt forced. It felt like we're just shoving this guy in as the narrow focal point rather than this being
Yeah.
an ensemble piece. So I agree with you. Excellent cast. Unfortunately, most of them are there just for good one-liners.
And I really like Kyle Chandler as an actor. Like he
I'm not knocking
No,
him.
no, I know. He is like one of the best like everyman type of guys. But that's what he was an everyman, and now he can do everything in this movie. And like I'm not going to repeat everything you just said, but like he was brought in to help with like because his family's missing, and then he becomes the superhero of the movie. I'm like, there's clearly a bunch of other people who have way more that they can do.
There are things. You're right. There are things like what you're talking about when they're at Outpost 54, which is the Bravo Charlie,
Yeah.
the Bravo Castle Bravo.
Castle Bravo.
And it's Godzilla's hunting grounds, and he's the one who tells them to lower the weapons. He's the one who tells them to open the blast shields.
It doesn't make sense. That should be coming from Sarazawa.
Even Vera
Sarazawa,
Farmiga,
for sure.
who's supposed to be like the research lady, he's like, well, I built the prototype because I'm the smart one. Actually, I'm like, you don't have to do everything.
right.
Well, also, a army colonel, she's given orders. I'm pretty sure she would not be like, yeah, sure, I'm going to follow what this guy's saying.
Aisha Hines,
Yeah.
another person not utilized as well. She should be.
Is that Foster?
yeah,
yeah,
it's Foster.
The bald lady?
Yes.
Yeah, she's cool.
Who? Okay, so these are characters that I did enjoy. I do agree they're underutilized, but they're characters who I enjoy. I enjoy the Chen. I liked her a lot. I know she hardly had anything to do, but she was kind of Essentially, she was kind of like the miscellaneous the host of the group, who she was going through all the.
She's the exposition lady.
Well, also she's going through the myth and
No,
legends.
yeah.
And also twins.
No, yeah, that's
Twins.
That's great.
Super cool. They didn't actually do anything with it.
True, but I still liked her.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I guess we can cycle it into the human
Sure.
thing. So the idea is that Dr. Chin is the latest generation of twins of the Mothra twins.
And when they show the sister, she is with Houston Brooks, who I talked about in the comic. That's the black guy with the glasses that's there. He's the older version of the character from Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So he's carried over, and I was like, that's an odd cameo, but cool.
Yeah, it's been a while since I last seen Kong, so I didn't know who he was.
Well, he's a different actor anyway.
It's 40 years later.
And they even one of the things that I was cued into is that they talk about Kong and the Hollow Earth a lot.
Yeah.
And that's from
A lot, yeah.
Kong Skull Island.
I was totally cool with that.
One of the things, so she is the latest generation of Mothra twins. Something that I really like, and I saw you kind of do your little okay symbol at the screen, is that when she's talking about her family, she's from a long line of twins. Each one of those actresses that play her mom and her grandparents are previous Mothra twins from the old Japanese movies, and I thought that was really sweet.
It's really sweet. Yeah. I was nervous. I think we talked about it when the trailer for this movie was coming out. That I was nervous that the way they were marketing this was this big bash, Godzilla being the hero and the three other monsters being villains. Mm-hmm. Mothra was marketed that way too, like she was going to be dangerous and a force to be reckoned with too. And I was like, man, I really am bummed that we're kind of throwing away Mothra's whole I'm the protector of the earth and giving it to Godzilla. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am glad that did not happen.
Because the way they structured this Godzilla, he and Mothra would be on the same side.
Exactly. Yeah. And I really appreciated that. It's never been structured that way before, and that's really cool. And I love the song being there.
Yes.
And I love the twin thing. I just wish that they'd actually done something with her knowing a lot about Mothra or something like that, instead of it just being like hey, you remember the old movies, right?
Like when they're in the briefing room and they're and Mothra shows up, and she tells Kyle Chandler something, and the Kyle Chandler's like blah 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 blah. She should have been the one to go up to the Colonel and be like blah 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 blah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I liked her. I liked O'Shea Jackson Jr. as Barnes, and I liked Foster,
Aisha Hines.
Yeah. I liked those three a whole lot.
Yeah, I did too. I
hope that they come back for the next movie. I did like everyone else, but I liked those three the most.
And I'll be fair. I think Aisha Hines is in the movie pretty much the appropriate amount for the character she was given. Yeah. I think it's awesome that she's a lady taking over that army position that normally would be given to a dude, which was cool. That the Admiral from 2014 it shows up as
dropping an oxygen bomb.
I liked how he showed up a few times.
I did too. I thought that was really cool.
You can't drop that oxygen bomb because that's a whole section we got to talk about. That oxygen bomb.
But Aisha Hines, I thought she was in the appropriate amount. Like you got a lot of characters. I was invested enough in her. I liked her. She was fine. I do think O'Shea Jackson Jr. needed more time. I think the twins needed to be treated better.
Yeah.
I stand by that. I think between Thomas Middleditch being there and Bradley Whitford, who are kind of similar in their roles in a sense, I think Bradley Whitford probably more important, but I don't know what exactly Thomas Middleditch added most of the time.
Monarch Man.
Which is why I'm saying there should have been people on that ship who were each an expert on one or two of the kaiju themselves.
Right.
Thomas Middleditch could have been the expert who'd done all the research he could on Ghidorah or on Rodan, and I would have thought that was great. That would have given him purpose and something to do.
Yeah.
And again, delegate out these positions of importance and relevance because it's way too much mostly Kyle Chandler and sometimes Ken Watanabe.
Yeah.
That really irked me, especially that Sally Hawkins, poor Sally Hawkins, did not get enough to do in this.
I think a lot of the ladies, not a lot of ladies, but I think a lot of them got shortchanged in this movie. To be honest,
the first time I saw it,
especially Sally Hawkins,
I didn't realize Sally Hawkins died.
The first time I saw it,
I had no idea.
The first time I saw it, I saw it with Zara. She taps me on my shoulder, and so I turned to look at her because she's going to tell me something, and I missed it. I missed that Sally Hawkins had died until I saw Ghidorah stomp down. I was like, "I'm sorry, did I?"
And in case you guys missed it, I think the movie also missed it because they put a big deceased picture just in case you missed it a minute later. Hey, if you guys missed it because this was a shoddy filmmaking
with Ken Watanabe looking sad next to
it. I think they killed both Sally Hawkins and Ken Watanabe in this film.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. I kind of wish one or the other.
Yeah, Sally Hawkins definitely could have been the person who should have survived, especially if you were going to take Ken out of this movie, because she would have been the person who was closest to him to have all the same information and be like, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
I did not like the way that they handled her. this is, again, we're like focusing on the human stuff. This is why the human stuff was problematic.
Yeah.
You had this. It's a spoil of riches. Is that the right phrase? Yeah. It's a spoil of riches.
Embarrassment of riches.
Embarrassment of riches. Thank
you
you. It's an embarrassment of riches because you have all these people who carry a lot of weight and talent, and you're not utilizing them.
Yeah.
I think Bradley Whitford is utilized fine.
I think it's a lot of fun.
He is a lot of fun. He's very much just his character from Cabin in the Woods
Yes.
In Godzilla now, and I'm okay with that. I just wish the other people around him had been given as much to play with, not necessarily in the jokey sense, but like to do.
I didn't want to bring this up, but I think I want to now. I've heard something, and I don't know if it's coming from the writer or something, but CBR posted an article saying that Rick, I think his name is Rick Stanton, is actually based off of Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty.
Who's Rick Stanton?
That's Bradley Whitford.
Bradley Whitford's character.
Oh, that. If that's true, that's the loosest of, because that character is not at like. He
Not
makes
even
jokes,
close.
but guess what? We all make jokes.
Yeah.
I
He's
know,
not
like, obviously, like, it's a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
Rick Sanchez is an R-rated character.
But like, he's not drunk like Rick. He's
Yeah.
not mean like Rick. He's
And
helpful. Like,
Yeah, and also,
he's not at all like Rick.
I mean, he has his way one-liners, like, "Oh, what? You want to invite him in for a beer?"
And we all do
and like
witty one-liners.
even if on paper that character had been based off that, Bradley Whitford made his own thing. It doesn't even matter.
And I really like. I think Bradley Whitford might actually be my favorite character. I'll be honest, because he gets
he gets the best lines.
He gets a lot of the best lines, and I like the again in the Rodan chase. I like him a lot in that one when they're like, so what do we do? Oh yeah, Sarazawa's old "let them fight" mantra. I love it when he used to say that.
Yeah.
Like I like a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah.
He's a fanboy.
No, it's cool. There are good moments. I think every actor has at least one good moment, but there should be more than that for me to say about them.
Yeah.
This was a film that feels like it was set up with an ensemble, and it actually only utilizes a couple of them.
And I would love to see at least the Monarch cast come back for Godzilla vs.
I
Kong.
agree with you, and I think a good chunk of them are, if not all, who survived. But
The only ones I think are confirmed are Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chandler.
but I really hope that they do more with them. This again, like I just really go back to like, I wish that Marc had been there for Marc's purpose and not everybody else's purposes too.
I agree.
If that had happened, I feel like naturally everybody else would have been more involved, and the whole human plot, that side of it, would have felt a lot better. It wouldn't have fixed the villain stuff, but it at least would have made everybody feel like they were there for a reason.
You know,
Yeah,
it's the main character problem when we have this main character, we have a main character. That main character has to do everything. It's
the same problem we had with Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, it's kind of bad writing in the sense that we need to have this character do everything because he's the main character. He's the main person. I would have liked to have seen more of an ensemble, like you said.
Yeah, especially because you have the cast there.
And again,
Yeah.
not to bring up other great Godzilla movies, but think of Shin Godzilla.
Just about to bring that up.
has a cast of dozens, and I don't know any other names, but I care about more than all of them because all of it feels more real and more personal.
And the thing is, like, that's helped from the fact that I think like the strongest Godzilla films, usually with characters, they've usually had those characters be far away from the action majority of the film, rather than in the middle of it, because the thing is that it's very hard to track a main character being present for all the events of these giant kaiju because it doesn't make sense how they get to every beat.
Be there for everything.
Because it doesn't make sense how they get to every beat.
Yeah.
And that's the big problem with Aaron Taylor Johnson in 2014. We suffer from that a little bit here because it is this forcing Kyle Chandler into that role.
But in this one, I think getting the characters through the main beats of the film is better handled because
I agree.
They're chasing a MacGuffin that the monsters are around.
It is better, but you're still cramming Marc out to the front when he should be hanging back and others should be more in front. Like, there's the whole... You know who would have been better to follow? Like, I understand the tension of the moment, why Marc is the person who goes running in to try and save his family when they're at the Ghidorah Antarcticas thing. Mm-hmm. But I would have much rather seen Aisha Hines and O'Shea Jackson Jr. being the ones who got close to the family, and him, like, talking to them on the monitor, like, saying, you know, get them out of there, get my family, and, like, having Marc on the phone or something. Mm-hmm. Rather than Marc being the person who ran in, I'm like, he's not...
Oh, you mean, like,
he's not
give
this
the
guy.
soldiers
He's
things
not
to
this
do?
guy.
Like, do soldiers
Yeah.
stuff?
He's got it. He's the only guy who can grab the elevator to save the soldiers. He does all these two important things.
I want to talk about this Easter egg before I forget it.
Sure.
I told you guys this at dinner that each of the outposts that we see are the numbers coincide with the year that each of those monsters debuted, with the exception of King Ghidorah. And even then, King Ghidorah's debut year is on the wall in that outpost. So I think it's Outpost 54 is Godzilla, 1954. Outpost 61 is Rodan, and 56 is Mothra. So Outpost 56 is Mothra, and Outpost 61 is Rodan.
I think you switched those. Let me double check that.
Oh yeah, if you want to double check.
They're old.
So either way, I think that's a cool little Easter egg. There's many more Easter eggs, and that goes to what I think they...
Yeah, Mothra's 1961.
Oh, okay. And so that goes to, I think, one of the best things about this movie, which is Michael Dougherty clearly loves the source material.
100%. There's a lot of great kaiju.
And there is love in this movie.
No, that was one of the things that why I think for me when I... Okay.
Deep breath.
Yeah. When I finished watching this movie, I talked to Fanny and talked to my friends who I saw it with. I'm like, if you know Godzilla, if you are a fan of
Go Godzilla.
If you are a Heisei era fan, a Showa era fan, or even a Millennium era fan, if you know those eras, if you have seen multiple Godzilla movies, you are gonna love this because it plucks a bunch of great Easter eggs and a bunch of great like the second they find Ghidorah. And Millie Bobby Brown calls him Monster Zero. I'm like, no way. And Fanning Zora is just like, what's Monster Zero? I thought that was Ghidorah. I'm like, don't worry, I'll tell you later.
And one of the things I really like about this film, so I've been posting a lot of Godzilla stuff on Instagram, experimenting with my Instagram posts. One of the things that I talked about was the fact that my favorite era of films is the second era of films, which is the Heisei era.
Mine too.
It's the late 80s, early 90s era of films. That starts with Godzilla 1985, Return of Godzilla, and ends with Godzilla vs. Destroyer. There's a lot of just nods from those films in this movie.
Sure.
And that made me incredibly happy.
Yeah, no, it made me happy too. Mm-hmm. I do want to put a counterpoint. I'm not calling you wrong, Ben, but I want to put a counterpoint to what you said when we started this, which is that, you go to Godzilla movies for the monster stuff.
Yeah.
I do as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a problem when the movie is marketing itself a lot on its human cast and what they do, which this movie did heavily. The trailers are a lot about this being a serious film following its human characters, that they are relevant. And if you fail on that, that's still a problem, even if you're only there for the monster stuff.
And I want to say the best Godzilla movies have good human characters.
Yeah.
The worst Godzilla movies don't.
Most of the time.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Final Wars has B-movie entertaining human characters,
but it's
fantastic.
I care a lot about those characters.
But you care a lot about those characters.
Fu. It saves all.
Right, and that's the thing.
Tom Selleck.
And honestly, there is a difference between... Final Wars is a great example. That is a B movie that knows it's a B movie. Mm-hmm. This is a movie not trying to be a B movie. Therefore, there is more weight on its human characters to carry the film.
Okay.
Even if the monsters are great, there is still more weight because of how they structured the film that the human cast has to pull some of it. And in this film, they sometimes do and they sometimes don't. And that's the thing. I kind of want to wrap up the human talk if anybody else has any thoughts about the human beings.
That's fine, because I know what you're saying, but for me personally, I roll
Didn't
with
phase
it.
you.
For sure.
It doesn't phase me at all. The human stuff I know is going to be there. They're in every Godzilla movie. It's obviously, it has to be there. But I was fine with it. I didn't completely hate it. I mean, when Emma wrestled David Lyons, sometimes it was pretty flat.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Charles Dance doesn't need to be there, but I liked that he was, because I liked him being like the cocky British a-hole. Millie Bobby Brown, I was like, okay, sure, whatever.
Please don't tell me you're just going to start listing the characters of the movie.
I'm not. But all those beats, all the stuff that was going on with them, I was still like, I was invested. I was like, okay, I'll watch it happen. It may not be the greatest, but I know what I'm here for.
Yeah.
And them reacting to Godzilla, like when Marc was running out, I was like, who's outside? And Shen's like, who do you think?
Yeah.
Just hearing that and their whole expression with seeing Godzilla for the first time, I was like, I like this.
Right.
This is fine.
My point was more just being like, I can go to this movie and still want just the monster stuff, which I did. But the movie is still set up to try to make me care about the human stuff. And if it fails in that, and I'm not getting enough monster action, which frankly I wasn't, not all the time. It's good when it happens, but there wasn't enough of it. then I have reasons to have to think about the human stuff. And if it falls short, it falls short, and that sucks because I went for the monsters. I went not expecting anything good out of the human
It's a
stuff.
good way to segue into the monsters.
I got one last thing. This is a transition. I've talked about this before. My favorite stuff about Godzilla is how crazy and silly it gets. That's one of the reasons I'm not the biggest fan of the 2014 Godzilla. It's really grounded, and Godzilla's barely there. I want Final Wars. And I know that's unrealistic for all the Godzilla movies, but like for me, this was a nice halfway step to where I want Godzilla to be.
Sure.
It's got crazy weaponry. It's got a bunch of humans working with Godzilla. Godzilla with a bunch of tanks behind him and like planes. That shit's awesome.
Right.
I unfortunately, the human stuff has to be good sometimes.
I counterpoint to
Yeah.
Ryan real quick. I think that there's a place for both.
Yeah.
And I think, Final Wars has its place, but so does Godzilla 1985.
No, I know.
That is a much more grounded Godzilla movie.
For
Godzilla
sure.
1954, grounded Godzilla movie.
That's what I was saying. I like my type of Godzilla.
Yeah, there are a place for both, and I like both.
Yeah.
And when you could get this kind of type of movie that gives you, I think, honestly, a good part. It takes what Gareth Edwards did with the first film, grounding Godzilla into mythology, and giving it that type of mythological weight to it, and running with it.
Yeah.
And that's just exactly what he does. They run with that idea, and I think you get to a point where you almost have what could have been a perfect Godzilla movie.
Okay.
If the human characters are better.
I think of that where my struggle ends up on is the movie doesn't execute either path well enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't execute B-movie monster mashup well enough to compensate for the lack of human stuff, nor does it execute human serious character development stuff well enough to compensate for the other.
So let's talk about the monsters then.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to get this one right out of the way. I was disappointed by the amount of Mothra in this movie.
Okay.
I said to use Sparky Sparks. Mothra is the Captain Marvel of this movie. Shows up at the beginning, shows up at the end.
I think I wasn't disappointed by it.
I think the marketing shows us more Mothra than we should have expected.
Probably. I wasn't disappointed by it. I was disappointed that I don't really think Rodan was necessary. I feel like Rodan was only there.
Except he has one of your favorite sequences in the movie.
I know, it's really kind of.
So thus he is necessary for that.
Right, but think about the end sequence would just have been. Would have been.
It would have been a 2-on-1 fight instead of a 2v2.
Yeah, and I think that would have been really cool.
But that was the first movie.
Ghidorah could have killed Rodan, but you don't need Rodan. The thing is, Rodan at least provided an awesome visual scene,
Air fight,
which is what you want, because that's what, if we're going to the monster movies for, that's what we want, is something like that. That was an incredible scene. I 100% agree. I am bummed Mothra did not have a similar thing. I have no scene that I can reference where I'm like, Mothra was just so cool in that. I like how she stabs Rodan. That's neat. I like the design of her. I like the light and the colors of her and everything. It's really great.
Yeah.
I just wish she was more of a presence in this film.
I really like the imagery of when Godzilla has fallen from the sky and she gets up on him and protects him.
Yeah.
I really like that imagery, and you could tell it's like that whole thing,
bro.
and you kind of get a sense that one of the things I really like about 2014 is that Godzilla has a personality. You can tell what he's thinking at any time. It comes through really well. I don't think that's as prevalent in this film, and I do think that's kind of a failing in this film.
It has moments.
It has moments, but it's not as prevalent as I would have liked it to have been.
Sure.
Well, one of the moments that I think stands out is when he turns to Mothra and kind of has a what's the word? He remembers Mothra. This is not the first time that they have met, or at least he has met a Mothra. You kind of get a familiarity.
They have history
from this, and you get a familiarity. Sure. This film, there's a couple of times where I felt like Godzilla has been familiar with two creatures before, Mothra and Ghidorah. They have met at one time.
Real quick, this is a tiny, probably never acknowledged in the film's theory. I have a theory that all the kaiju carry the memory of the previous. So when they're this is Piccolo style stuff, or Groot, as we talked about, they carry the memory of the one before.
Yeah,
interesting.
And I think that because we've already seen that skeleton of that Godzilla, right? So a Godzilla, I don't think there were more than one Godzilla necessarily for an extended amount of time. No, but I don't mean on the level of what we see in Kong, how many apes there were and everything. But I do think that however old this Godzilla may be, whether far back or not that far back, they carry that living memory of their ancestors. I think that's how the Titans probably work. Mothra, the next Mothra will also have the same thing.
It could be. I always assumed it was because we see Godzilla's temple, and he's been living there for millions of years and evolving and absorbing the radiation. I think that's the sense that, like Kong, Godzilla's the last of his kind, and that's kind of the idea that there was at one time many Godzillas, many Mothras, Rodans, Behemoths, Mutos. At one time on the Earth, and then they've all gone extinct except for these.
Possibly.
That's how I always saw it.
No. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that point. I just think that, the familiarity can come from this. I think that's something that can not only apply to these, but can apply to the older kaiju films.
Now,
there's kind of a residual memory of the one before.
The idea of them being titans from millions of years ago, that's a newish idea, right?
It is new.
Okay, yeah, and I actually really like that idea.
Me too.
I'm 100% down, and I'll get this out of the way because I was wrong, and I at first I wasn't a fan of the underwater civilization thing, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, it's Godzilla, who cares, whatever. It's old, it's mythology, whatever.
They've lived for millions of years.
Yeah, I really. I saw a weird Atlantis thing, and I'm like, I just got that in my brain. So
I'm not gonna lie,
I had to get out of there.
The statues are Godzilla.
They are,
Yeah,
and I saw that, and they have staffs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Godzilla people.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw
Shin Godzilla. Did someone say Shin Godzilla?
Oh god.
first time I saw Seatopia, as Ryan coined it when we were having dinner.
That's what
That's what it's called.
Oh, it is
in the 70s.
It's called Seatopia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. First time
It's
I
a
saw
bad
Seatopia, my first thought was no effing way. We're going to Atlantis.
Yeah,
Did Godzilla see
CBR.
Atlantis?
I gotta stop. We're going to CBR, but they're like, is Godzilla from Atlantis? And I'm like, no. So I just put it in my brain.
Yeah.
It's just an old civilization.
Yeah, but then when they
These
said,
monsters are millions of years old who are worshipped as gods.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But then
I like that.
But then when they're like, no, this is older than the Greeks, older than the Romans, like, okay, yeah, I could dig that.
I like that stuff. Yeah.
But I really liked the I loved every time they would show cave paintings of Godzilla fighting Ghidorah.
Yes.
100%.
Ghidorah,
Ancient enemies.
besides Godzilla, Ghidorah is by far my favorite monster.
Let's talk about Ghidorah.
Ghidorah is effing cool.
Because Ghidorah, they have a hard time finding things about Ghidorah. Each monster has something, has some basis in myth. There are rumblings in mythology about each monster, but they can't.
You got the
they
Mothra
can't
carving.
find anything about Ghidorah, and they can't quite figure out why. I know what you're about to say. You're going to talk about the Skull Island thing?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
What I was gonna, because they show that image, but that's different from they know that the thing exists, but they don't know there's all this lore from people and everything about the other kaiju, and that's what they're basing it on, is they don't have this, and then all of a sudden they do.
It's Chen, right?
Yeah.
She's just like, she literally says, I pieced this together.
This is why I wish there had been experts on the things, and had been someone trying to figure this out.
So the idea of Ghidorah is that, and going to the idea that these creatures are millions of years old who are worshipped as gods, Ghidorah fell from the sky, keeping his alien origins from the Showa era.
Which
Hell
made
yeah.
me so happy.
He fell from the
Same.
sky, and he doesn't belong in our ecosystem.
Nope.
He's not part of the natural order.
So when he's around, there's hurricanes. He's his very presence of existence on our Earth is destroying the Earth.
He creates a Category 6.
Bro, this is Monster Hunter.
The highest...
The Elder Dragons create storms around them.
Yeah. The highest category we've ever recorded, the highest it goes in hurricane-wise, is a Category 5.
Yeah.
They think it's him. They don't think it's him at first.
He created Category 6.
Some disturbingly cool imagery.
Yeah.
It is.
Of just a traveling thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Man, it looked really good.
Or even seeing DC that wrecked.
Oh man, DC got
And looking
bombed.
at the idea of these monsters each have a kind of place in our ecosystem. They look like they belong on this planet. They have a reference point of creatures that we've seen in either history or something. Ghidorah doesn't. Ghidorah's look
alien, baby.
is so unique from the world. And I really like how they do Ghidorah. Each head has its own personality. There's my favorite head. I have a favorite head.
It's the right head.
It's the right head who's licking people off the ground.
And the middle head's like, stop that.
who grows back.
Yeah.
And
that was insane seeing that.
Seeing Godzilla,
I was like, oh, this is my live action Hercules.
Yeah, seeing Godzilla rip off Ghidorah's head was like, oh. And then seeing it just grow back like a reptile, I'm like, oh.
That was
unexpected.
And then
tongue first.
Yeah, and then tongue first. And then when
he's always licking something.
And then when it said Ghidorah fell from the sky, I'm like, they kept him as an alien. That makes sense. Aliens can do that weird shit.
Yeah,
cool.
I really like that. they lean into the ability because of the technology they're using, where they can make him more snake-like.
Yeah.
They make his tails a little more like rattlers. They have his heads move more like snake movements, and they give him even kind of hissing noises. I really appreciate that, because that's stuff you can't do with
And
the
each head
guy
has
in a
its own
puppet
personality.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, but like I just really liked how they really tried to utilize all the different things they can do, because it's not a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the last Godzilla movie I saw was Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, where Mecha King Ghidorah shows up. And let me tell you, that, I don't know, as much as I love the Hasty era films, that film was kind of hard for me to sit through.
Oh, I love that movie.
I love dudes in suits, man.
Real quick. When we were doing our review of, well, I guess it wasn't necessarily a review, a discussion of Godzilla Monster Planet, one of our biggest complaints were...
Oh, no, it was a review.
Oh, well, one of our biggest complaints was we were seeing Godzilla do the same thing. He's just lumbering Godzilla again.
Yeah.
And I remember Ryan saying that, well, that's just Godzilla. That's what Godzilla does. And to the point that this is a good example of, you have this different technology, you have the different medium to use this. You don't need to do the same thing. Like, if they had just CGI'd Ghidorah with flapping heads, stupid, like like he is in the show, in the old movies, like
silly.
That's useless. That's a waste of the technology.
There is an anime that does that on purpose, but it's a comedic anime, so that's fine.
I'm into it.
The fact that they utilize it, man, I hate that anime series. That is the worst Godzilla thing. I will never watch the rest of that. I will never own it. This is so bad. Anyway, the fact that they use so much to make these animals feel like animals and real is really great. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, Ghidorah
aspect of these.
postures like a peacock.
Yeah, it's really great.
Ghidorah, the way when he brings his wings out to try and intimidate Godzilla, to try and make himself look bigger, I'm like, man, this is just so cool.
Like when Rodan is first unleashed, and we see it in the trailers, but the wave of his wings brings people up, and they die as they're twirling in the air. That's some heinous shit, man.
It's so cool to see that kind of effect.
Even seeing Rodan kneel before Ghidorah, and everyone realized that Ghidorah
Long
was
live the king.
When Ghidorah is and even when Serizawa says Ghidorah and Godzilla have fought before.
Apex.
Yeah.
I love that.
Ghidorah is like Godzilla, an apex predator. A species higher than the others, more powerful than the others.
And since Ghidorah is an alien, and you said it's not natural to our ecosystem, it causes all the Titans to go crazy and just attack everything.
Yeah, that's why when he was trapped in ice, it was perfect, because he was frozen and no one had to touch him.
I said the same thing.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't care. But the one thing that got me, Sparks, was when they dropped the oxygen destroyer and the fish started bubbling up, and you had to bring up the...
That's a lot of fish.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I heard someone say that.
So real quick, let's talk about the fact that the oxygen destroyer is in this movie. This is a weapon from the first Godzilla movie.
Yes, 2 seconds before we do that. How cool is it that we have a movie where Godzilla leaps out of the ocean to grab Ghidorah and pull him into the ocean?
Yeah.
That's never happened.
That's awesome.
And that was awesome.
Yeah, it was. Just like when they were traveling in on the argue, Godzilla's like, F you! And it just brings Ghidorah down.
So the oxygen destroyer is in this movie, and it's the weapon that killed Godzilla in the very first Godzilla movie.
54.
And they use it. The military use it, and you get a little sense that the fish are dying around. So they've been experimenting with it. And so when they finally launch it, and it looks like the oxygen destroyer, we also get masers in this movie, which is pretty great.
Right.
But throwing in the oxygen destroyer, and it almost kills Godzilla.
Right.
It weakens Godzilla severely.
It doesn't kill Ghidorah at all.
It doesn't harm Ghidorah at all, because he's not part of this.
Ghidorah just rises from the ocean well, nothing happened.
Just
grew a
kills
new
all
head.
the fish.
Yep.
Which I was okay with.
Violante.
Because, I know when people, if they're going to reference the original Godzilla film, or even Godzilla vs. Destroyer, they're like, oh, the oxygen destroyer kills everything. It's like, the Admiral does say it's a prototype, so it's not going to be 100% effective.
Yeah. Right.
So it still makes sense, but...
it's a little bit dumb in the original movie that it just disintegrates him, bones and all.
Yeah. Oh, it just disintegrates him.
Not bones.
Not bones.
Not bones in Tokyo SOS, but the original was bones.
But not.
It's bones. They disintegrate the bones.
Took everything
in the very original movie...
This isn't important.
In the 1954 movie, he is disintegrated down to the bone. It is gone. His bone structure is gone.
Mecha Ghostzilla.
Ghostzilla. Yeah.
Whatever.
Tokyo SOS doesn't
It's like
belong
its
in the same
spirit is
continuity.
taking it over.
Yeah. But just the fact that they... Like we were saying earlier, the director loved the source material. That's why he threw in the oxygen. I didn't think I was going to hear the words oxygen destroyer in an American film.
It was cool to hear we have a prototype bomb, the oxygen. I'm like, oh, nice.
And it even kind of looks like the Anoxian
It is designed to look like that.
Yeah,
to look
nice.
like it.
Which I was like, yeah, this is great.
Right.
And then we see Godzilla not die.
Oh, I love-
And then Godzilla goes through a wormhole.
Rick's whole thing is like, come on, big guy. Come on, big guy.
Yeah.
They're trying to urge Godzilla on.
And seeing Ghidorah just not even... It's like, psh, what's this gonna do, little bitch?
That just reminded me of a human thing I wanted to talk about real
Sure,
quick.
I guess so.
Kyle Chandler, his character Marc.
Oh, yeah,
I don't like how constantly he flip-flops about how he feels about Godzilla.
Oh,
I wish they'd pick a lane with
Specifically
that.
at the beginning,
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, like Godzilla's dead. You got your wish," and he's like, "No, but no, I didn't really want him dead." I'm like, "You gotta make up your mind."
I
okay.
especially didn't like how they never utilized directly the fact that he photographs animals and should have a more clear understanding and appreciation
There's
of Godzilla.
one-
No, I know what it is.
It's just
but
one
but I'm
thing.
saying like they didn't go for it.
I know.
And they just kept him on this line of like, I hate Godzilla, but he can be reasoned with. But I hate Godzilla, and it's like this makes no sense, dude. Like, pick a lane here.
Sarazawa goes to save Godzilla.
Yeah.
Well, first, oh, we can't launch the thing. Oh, we can't do it remotely. Someone's got to sacrifice themselves. Because that's what we wrote.
That's some Star Trek logic. I'll buy it.
I just-
Bye, Sarazawa.
I just wish we talked about it earlier. Like, I didn't want both of them to go. Like, I think it negates both of it.
Sally Hawkins shouldn't have died.
Yeah.
If she hadn't died, this would be a cool way for Sarazawa to go out.
And I even like the way
I
he
like him
goes.
looking at the watch. I like him going up and touching Godzilla
Goodbye,
and saying
old
goodbye,
friend.
old friend,
I
in
love that.
Japanese.
I like how Sarazawa goes out a lot. He gets up close to Godzilla for the first time, and he gets to say goodbye to him.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And then he nukes his entire home.
I dislike that a lot.
He just destroys Godzilla's home.
Not just his home, but like this civilization that is like that we have never seen before, possibly. So this is an entire civilization that's new to us that we can like.
Well, remember, Rick records everything.
Yeah,
I'm also sure there's more. There's probably more.
but
Yeah.
like
Because there were in the end credits there were newspapers that flashed that they found underground Hollow Earth civilizations. They
Okay.
found
cool.
more
Okay,
temples.
cool.
So
But
Godzilla is juiced
Yeah,
at this
but-
point.
but
Godzilla's
Brandon-
ready to go.
Brandon, I actually did have something to say because at first I did not want Ken Watanabe to die.
No, I don't want it to happen either.
I do like his scene, but at the same time it's like, can you just live?
I still don't want him to be dead, but I
Yeah.
like the scene.
I would have liked him to be in the last one.
It's weird. It's a catch-22 because
He's in Godzilla's mouth at the end. I survived.
no, it's a weird catch-22 because I get that someone had to detonate the bomb remotely, but I don't know. Just the way his final moment with Godzilla, great. The way he got up there, I don't like.
I feel like someone who has as much information and knowledge about Titans, like he should not be the person to die.
Especially about Godzilla.
This because like he's like the expert.
But no other character was built well enough to be the person who did it.
True.
Ideally, it could have been like Thomas Middleditch.
Yeah.
If his character had been handled right, it could have
Yeah.
been him.
One of the 7 other characters who had nothing to do.
Although realistically, would have meant less.
See, the problem is it had to have been Sarazawa.
Yeah.
But Sally Hawkins didn't need to die.
Yeah.
Or they could have just not written a plot where someone needed to go up there and
Yeah,
die
they
and
could have
just
just
shot
dropped
the
the
nuke
bomb
at him.
on him. He's like probably my favorite character in this, and I'm like, I like that guy. I want him to continue. I want him to be my Sam Jackson. And now it's
I
now who is
agree.
it?
I agree. But however, I do like the plot.
Yeah.
I like how he goes out. I like that whole thing. It's a great way. It's a great character beat.
Yeah.
The only thing that sours it for me, the only thing in period end of thing is that Sally Hawkins died.
Yeah.
If Sally Hawkins didn't die, that moment would land 100% better.
Sure,
Yes.
but she did, so it doesn't work in this movie
Yeah.
as well as it should.
Unfortunately, I agree.
Yeah, so going back to when Godzilla is juiced and he is about to kick ass and
Rick
take names.
even says, "What Sarazawa juiced him."
Yeah. And he's like glowing
Kaiju
blue. He's just radiating blue.
He's about to
He's gonna
explode.
explode. Looks great.
Call back to Godzilla versus Destroyer.
Burning Godzilla.
Which I was kind of hoping to see.
I understand why. Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was kind of hoping to see when he does turn into Burning Godzilla after Mothra gives the
His life force.
and Godzilla's glowing red. I was kind of hoping to see Godzilla do his straight atomic breath instead of atomic blast.
Oh, his
where it's-
Superman shockwave attack.
His Superman supernova, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was okay with it because I'm like, that's from Godzilla vs. Destroyer. This is Burning Godzilla.
Yeah.
I love this because Godzilla vs. Destroyer is one of my favorite Godzilla films.
It's like a catch-22 for me because it's super cool that Burning Godzilla's there, but he's there for
Yeah.
15 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I kind of wish I wanted more, but it doesn't make sense because he's an atomic exploder.
Well,
Like,
the problem with Burning Godzilla is that at the point that Godzilla gets to that point, he is melting down.
No,
in Destroyer he does die.
Yeah.
He does die, and his son absorbs the radiation and mutates into Godzilla, and that's how that keeps going.
Okay.
But in this one, he expels enough radiation to cool his body down.
Yeah.
Almost like Shin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do wish it wasn't just a shockwave attack or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, because he just did it twice. I'm like, oh, okay.
But the fight in Boston between him and Ghidorah...
Disintegrates Ghidorah.
Yeah, but even when Mothra comes in to help and Rodan flies out of the clouds, I wasn't expecting that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I mean, yes, there is a little too little...
Rodan coming in for the kill.
Well, I do agree with Sparks. There's too little Mothra, but I'm not that big of a Mothra fan. I'm a Godzilla fan.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see Godzilla fight Ghidorah. I got that. Rodan versus Mothra, great side fight. That's kind of like the warm-up fight before the main fight.
Yeah.
And I was fine with it. Even when Rodan had Mothra pinned up against the building, I'm like, no, don't kill Mothra like that. And then when Mothra stabs Rodan, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't kill. I mean, Mothra comes back because, like, with the egg.
Yeah,
but,
we
like,
get the egg.
I was really worried. There was like, oh man, are they just gonna kill off all
It's
these
like
kaiju?
Mothra died. I think Mothra.
There'll
dies in
always be more Mothras.
Yeah, doesn't
Yeah.
Mothra die in every movie, anyways?
Not every.
Nope.
Okay, but she
She,
dies. in a
she
lot.
doesn't die in Godzilla and Mothra Battle for Earth.
I understand you
You're
don't
right.
like her, so it's hard to
so
track.
here's
but
this isn't an actual complaint. It was in my mind. The end plot where all the monsters converge on Boston reminds me of Pacific Rim 2, where all the monsters converge
On
on
Tokyo?
a signal.
yeah.
I guess so.
I mean, it's not like it's funny. Like, oh,
I mean,
they
I
both.
kind of resent you for
Even
comparing
bringing
it
it
to a worse movie.
No, I know. If I'm being honest, I like Pac Rim 2 a lot.
I did too.
I know.
This Boston made me remember another human thing. I
Can't
don't like.
help it.
I don't like how the forced narrative of like, oh yeah, we moved to Boston for a while, which they drop a few times just to make sense of why Bobby Brown has a place to go in Boston.
Oh yeah.
That was dumb,
I think the line is
dumb and coincidental.
To be fair, I think the line is we moved back to Boston. They had lived there before. That's why Kyle Chandler has a very
It is dumb and coincidental.
very heavy Boston accent.
Boston.
Although, side note, me being a Dodgers fan and seeing Fenway get wrecked is kind of vengeance for 2018. Kind of makes me happy.
Sports vengeance.
Should we reel back?
It's stupid. It's silly. I know, but
You can feel your feels. That's fine.
go Dodgers.
Shall we wrap up?
When Godzilla comes out of the sea after being nuked up, it's real great because of the music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a good way to end. I think the music is incredible.
The soundtrack is the best soundtrack to any Godzilla film. Period.
Yeah.
100%.
I would agree.
Oh, yeah.
I 100% think the best thing to come out of this movie, regardless of anything else, is the score.
Yeah, I'm sure you've all heard me sing the praises of Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, or GMK. I think the soundtrack is incredible. I think one of the best soundtracks of Godzilla is one of the best Godzilla soundtracks ever. This trumps that. This is the best Godzilla soundtrack.
When we first
It
listened
has
to it,
budget to be one
Yeah.
of the best scores ever.
like when we first listened to the Godzilla theme, like it's good, but we were listening to it on your phone.
yeah.
Hearing it on IMAX and hearing like the Broly yells,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking
So good.
awesome,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Like specifically like when the theme song is playing and Godzilla's doing his thing, I'm like, this is exactly why I come. Can we? I know it's impossible to have a 2-hour just this, but just can we? Can we just do it?
I could have done with about 5 to 10 minutes more of that kind of feel in the film.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, even today, what I loved about IMAX is I felt my seat vibrate with every Godzilla roar.
It was nice.
Every single one.
Oh,
I
we get
felt-
the classic roar.
Yeah, we do, which is great. And every time when I first saw it, when I saw it yesterday, and when I saw it today with you guys, every time when he rises out of the oceans and you hear the dun 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 dun, and when he's finally facing off Ghidorah and you hear the original theme, I'm like, this is just great. We nailed
First
it.
American Godzilla to have their
We
theme.
finally freaking nailed
Good
it.
job, Bear. Man, Bear McCreary does so much shit.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
TV and movies. Like the dude does like
And video
games.
And video games, yeah.
And
He does,
even the end credit, like, sorry to cut you off,
No, you're
Ryan,
good.
but the end credits, I was singing in my seat along
good-
with the
man,
end credits of
it's,
Godzilla, and it was perfect. It was one of the end credits where I was like, I want to pay attention to the headlines because that's gonna be clues.
you guys saw the credits of all the monsters were themselves, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is great. The sound mixing on this film is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cinematography is very good. The
Oh, yeah.
color palette is really strong
Uh-huh.
and vibrant. I just wish that there were a few less dark shots.
Yeah.
I understand that there is a plot device of the darkness because of Ghidorah bringing a storm, but I told Brandon this, it bums me out that there's never a single shot in this movie where I really see how golden bright Ghidorah is.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, that I could.
That
agree
not a
with that.
single shot
Yes.
in this movie that happens, and that bums me out. Like, I've seen that toy of this version, and he is a bright gold, and I do not see it in this movie.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if that was a actual choice to like keep the vibrancy kind of down, because like
Maybe.
How bright do you want to get it when you're trying to be like dark and gritty?
Because there's a lot of really. My two favorite shots of this movie is when the Argo's flying into King Ghidorah, and you see him. You see his glowing the eyes of his three heads, being menacing, and also in the second one is the fight in Boston where you see Godzilla's reflection on the building, and King Ghidorah.
That's an awesome shot.
And Ghidorah looks up, and goes, "Oh shit!"
That's a great shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mothra comes in for the save.
Yep.
But yeah, that was. I think that the shots are really well lined up. I think mostly the colors are very vibrant. I like the way that they make Rodan. This very distinct red color palette. Yeah. Ghidorah has his, Godzilla has his blue, and Mothra has her vibrant bright light. That really works. I just wish that I could see more of them in actual light.
Yeah, I can agree with
that. That is the thing that I do feel is detracted out of this movie because all the old monster movies, yes, they're dudes in suits, but you can also see all their colors. They're in the daytime most of the time.
Yeah.
So you can see all these colors and everything. I just wish we had a little bit more of that somewhere in this movie.
I can agree with that.
Yeah,
that's a little lacking in my opinion.
The credits had I believe it was the first actor to be in the Godzilla suit. He passed away. Yeah, and that was him. That's a really nice little
that was really awesome.
Thanks for being Godzilla, my man.
Was there also another Godzilla roar at the end of that? Because I thought I heard one.
No, I don't believe so.
I don't think so. There's a bunch of kaiju teased up in this movie, like
17.
not like visually, but like that they're around.
Yeah.
We get one that may or may not be Kumonga because who knows? But it's a giant spider, so I'm going to say it's Kumonga.
Is that Mastodon new?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And another Muto who I really didn't need.
I honestly thought for a second it was Muto Prime. I was like, wait, didn't he?
It would need like more orange stuff and all that.
Actually, one of my complaints is that when they're looking at all the other kaiju are rising, we don't see them. I get that there's legal issues with Toho, but I don't know, it would have been nice.
I agree.
Sorry, go on.
I think one of the things is like they can't tease you too hard because if it was like, oh look, it's Gigan and it's Megalon, it's all these guys like, wow, I want to see that movie.
I'm gonna be saying a Brandon here. I was hoping for Anguirus.
Yeah,
I was hoping for Anguirus lookalike.
Oh no, I wasn't hoping for Anguirus in this movie. I'm hoping for Anguirus down the line.
I was hoping for an Anguirus lookalike.
I believe that the reason why we don't see all 17 kaiju is because they want to leave it open for the idea that Toho could fill in the gaps with if they ever finally let go of the rights, because getting them to let go of the rights for these three was difficult,
especially after '98, man.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So doing anything, and I've told you guys before, the rights issues for Godzilla are numerous. Like most of those all those films are not owned all those films are owned by different people in America. Godzilla is the only thing they lease out, and they don't even lease out the roar or the theme. They only the character look. Mm-hmm. So you have to go. It's more money to get the roar. It's more money to get the theme. It's more money to get each different monster.
I guess they like that 2014 enough to be like, all right, you can have them. Yeah. You can have it.
And I mean, they gotta give them a good pitch.
But I do like the tease of Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, I
just wish the end credit. I wish the end credit scene was a tease for it.
I was gonna say we don't know that it isn't. I was gonna say that I wish. I think that the simple way to handle this was just to have less than 17.
Yeah.
I didn't need 17 that I'm not gonna see.
Yeah.
It's weird that I don't see more of all these kaiju and these things happening in this movie. If it's so much a big event around the world, we're not seeing enough of it. The fact that I only see like 3 other dudes is not enough. I think you could have just cut down the number. There can always be more kaiju. It's not hard.
There can always be more.
Let's get out of here, shall we?
I really like the last shot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Godzilla roaring in front of all of them.
Yeah.
It's actually really similar to the end of Godzilla vs. Destroyer with the way they backlight him.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk about the post-credit scene.
The game is on.
The game is on. Do we think
the credits does have the Kong Godzilla tease up on the cave painting?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that one. I'm sorry. I meant the Charles Dance one.
I know.
Ghidorah head. Do we think that is Mecha Ghidorah? Do we think that's a Destroyer? Do we think that's what do we think? Because that's clearly set up. Set up. What are they doing?
When I first saw it, my thought was it could be a lead into Mecha Ghidorah.
I don't think you could do that.
I don't think you can.
But you can't do Mecha Godzilla, right?
I mean, you can't do Mecha anything in this franchise.
But why show a dead head symbolizing like rejuvenation, like bringing something back to life? You know what I mean? Like they set it up, even if we don't want that. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking it's going to be Destroyer.
That's what I want.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's Destroyer because obviously that was the same place where they dropped the Oxygen Destroyer, and Destroyer, the monster in the original Heisei era film, became Destroyer because of the Oxygen Destroyer.
Well, what about this? Perhaps there's a way that Charles Dance could plotty a way to re-energize the head, and it could grow a body back.
Just be Ghidorah again?
Just be Ghidorah again.
It could.
I think that would be fine, but I think in terms of blockbuster movies, you have to up the scale, or like people won't care.
See, now I've always been against the idea of upping the scale.
Well, no,
I don't think
we don't.
I don't think you have to do that.
I know we don't, but I think in terms of having a third trilogy final movie, you can't just have the same bad guy again.
As far although as of now, the final movie in this franchise is Kong vs. Godzilla.
Ghidorah is revived and flies back into space, grabs Gigan, and comes back.
Now you're talking. I just want Gigan.
All right, so let's
wrap it up.
Wrap it up. So, Sparks, we'll go to your final thoughts.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think that where the human stuff falls short for me. Oh man, we didn't even talk about like how their plot was the rejuvenation of the Earth through the radiation energy they leave behind.
They're eco-terrorists. Yeah. Oh, it's basically like a Thanos plot.
Yeah.
Like destroy the world, so it'll regrow. It's fine.
That was a little weird for me. That plot point.
Sure.
I think I have a problem with when you put forth this idea of what's something that's actually a prevalent problem in our life, which is climate change and everything, and you put it forth and it's like, this will solve the problem, and I'm like, cool, I actually don't have a reason to root against these bad guys because it would solve a problem that's real and nobody else has a solution in this film.
Yeah.
It's the Sam Jackson thing in Kingsman.
Yeah, I don't like when the good guys who are trying to stop the bad thing don't have a proper, like, well, this is why we shouldn't allow this to happen because we could fix it this other way.
It's only because King Ghidorah is a monster
is an alien from space that they decide, oh, we messed up.
Yeah, so, like, if it was just Godzilla and all these guys, like, what if this was a good thing and they're the bad guys?
Right.
That would be a fun story to actually tell.
But because Ghidorah showed up and he unleashed all the monsters all at once and they just let him loose on a rampage, then it's like, oh, we messed up.
Battle Royale.
Final thoughts.
Villain's stuff is lame. Vera Farmiga's phoning it in, and that sucks. I wish that the human stuff had been handled a little better. When you have this big of a cast, you should just distribute all your responsibilities and priorities, make them actual characters better. Because it was close. It was close, but it wasn't there. The monster stuff was really awesome. Visually, it's really great. I wish that there had been a little bit more of it in this movie. Could have done with a little more of it. 8.5.
8.5. Cool. Ryan?
Yes, I echo what Spark said already. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of the human stuff, but, you know, we come here for the Godzilla stuff, and that stuff was truly exceptional and really, really fun. It's why I go to the movies, especially IMAX. Go see this movie on the biggest screen if you do want to see it. I wish the human stuff didn't bother me as much, but, like, I just can't turn that part off. I wish I could. I'd give this, like, a 7.5. Like, it's definitely the coolest Godzilla, like, battles. Like, we are at a point where CGI, we can do whatever we want. I will fast forward through half this movie and watch the end. I like it. 7.5.
Ben?
Hail to the king.
Is that your final thoughts?
9. Solid 9. I love this movie.
9.
The fights were great. Everything I wanted in 2014 that I wanted in 2014 and didn't get, I got in this movie. The human stuff does not bother me. The fights, like, even one of my favorite parts is when Rodan's trying to challenge Godzilla, and Godzilla's like, bow, bitch. He just bows. It's like, yeah, that's right. You bow to him. Godzilla is just, he's just great. I love this movie. See it on the biggest screen possible. 9.
Yeah, I echo a lot of what you guys said. Though I was on board for half of the human.
I was going to say, do you? I don't think you echo all of us.
No, but I do echo a lot of it. So I think I'm comfortable with an 8. Solid 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 Godzukis.
Wow. 4 out of 10 Manilas.
Wow.
Stop it right there.
All right, so that'll do it for us this week. We did this out of order, so our book club.
Weird.
Our book club next week, Sparks.
Yeah.
What is it?
Light Brigade by Peter Tomasi.
Light Brigade. So check that out.
That's part of the new imprint, right? Or
No.
for DC? Is that just
this
is
is an
creator
older comic.
Oh, it's an older. Oh, I'm thinking of something else.
All right, so next week, strap in is Dark Phoenix.
Oh,
Is it?
Oh,
wow.
man.
I'm really excited, guys. I'm so ready for the X-Men to be over.
Can we not?
I'm so ready.
I'm telling you, man. This is bittersweet for me.
Yeah.
I like the X-Men franchise. I'm gonna be sad to see it go.
I like some of the movies. Yeah,
I like 8 of those movies.
Yeah.
I like a few of those movies.
Yeah.
Everybody's allowed to make choices and have opinions.
All right, so Dark Phoenix. Also, Ken Knapsack will be joining us for a review of his book, Why We Love Star Wars.
Next week?
Next week.
Damn, dog.
Yeah.
We're busy.
We are very busy. And we have some stuff on YouTube. We got Basement Arcade going.
Heck
and,
yeah, episode 6 came up this week, 7 next week.
And we have a Fake Nerd Watch coming back this week with Swamp Thing.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Probably going to record that tonight.
Oh, shit.
Are we?
Maybe not, after the way you said that.
Okay. And we got probably some more archive episodes up eventually.
Working on it.
Basement Arcade special will be up this week.
Our Latin review special went up
Nice.
on video.
All right, so that'll be that. If as you guys know, we are a Funko affiliate, so click the affiliate link in our description and use the promo code SHOP10 for 10% off your purchase.
Hell yeah.
We are a part of Pave Media. Check out pavemedia.net for more podcasts, for some great fun podcasts like Let's Get Contextual, Batman vs. the World, Beg to Differ, Beyond the Box Set. Good stuff all around. Check out our Patreon and our TeePublic, both linked below. Always be on the lookout for sales for our TeePublic, guys. I bought a lot of stuff.
They happen randomly.
They happen very randomly. Thank you to everyone who listens. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our theme tunes and intro musics. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards. Still trying to get Suburban Proctologist back up on the air, but once it is back up, check that one out. Thank you to Mike Matola, who will be on the show soon. I worked out a date, so he's coming back.
So wish he was on the X-Men episode. It's a shame.
I couldn't make it work.
I know, I get it.
I want to do like a whole X-Men film, like rewatch breakdown.
Oh man.
We could do this. We could just try and do a special.
What, like the week that he's coming?
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
Yeah,
We'll try. We'll see what we can do. You can find him at Mike Matola. For all the merchandise right now is his design.
He's great.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast. FakeNerdGuys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ben, where are you?
BenMac27 on Instagram and Twitter.
Sparks.
Sparks Witty on Instagram, SPARKZ Witty.
Ryan.
Mortal Kombat 11's first batch of DLC characters was announced. It's Shang Tsung, Nightwolf, Sindel, and Todd McFarlane's Spawn. Rumors that Ash from The Evil Dead and Terminator are coming up next. I'm at DJ Tony Stark.
Oh.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Until next week, guys. Screonk indeed.